again, everyone. Welcome to NFL Live. Len Berman in New York, along with Paul McGuire and Gail Sierens. Drugs, front and center. 5 suspended players returning to their teams this week, and teams will continue to test them for drugs. And today, Olympic leaders from the United States and the Soviet Union announced plans for year-round random testing of athletes in training, something NFL players and owners cannot agree on. And with the disqualification of gold medalist Ben Johnson of Canada, steroids made big headlines. Muscle-building drugs. And since football players are more muscular than in other sports, the questions are inevitable. I talked with Dr. Robert Voy, the Chief Medical Officer of the United States Olympic Committee in Seoul.
That in football and in weightlifting and in some of the track and field events, there has been ample information and indication that steroid use is quite well used.
To your knowledge, what is the use, or what is the percentage of use among athletes of steroids in the National Football League or in football in general?
Well, I've heard conflicting reports, anywhere from 30 to 50 or 60%. And these are not statistics that originate from me or the U.S. Olympic Committee. These are what I've heard from the NFL's medical committee.
The fact that football players have grown so large so quickly is part of the reason steroids in your mind?
Oh, I think so. There's very little question about that. The average 225-pound football player who, in 3 months in preparation for spring training, suddenly blossoms into a 260 or 70-pound individual, that cannot be done, to my knowledge, physiologically in any other way except with the enhancement from anabolic steroids.
If every NFL player knows he will be tested during training camp for steroids, is it possible to mask the use well enough in advance?
There have been a lot of masking agents that have come along. These we pretty much keep track of in our testing program. It's not the masking so much, it's the ability to respond to what we call an announced test. Once you know that you are going to be faced with a test in a week or two, it's easy to get off these drugs and escape detection as far as the laboratory is concerned. But at the same time, you still have considerable amount of the drug available in your system to give beneficial results. So there is a loophole in the current testing program.
So if you were commissioner of the National Football League, the only way to do away with steroid use is to have unannounced random tests?
I don't like to use the term random. That's a confusing term. What we really mean is testing during the training period where these drugs are the most beneficial and most frequently used, and not completely unannounced, because the laboratory technology is sophisticated enough so that what we call short notice testing of 24 or 48 hours is sufficient. We don't think really that, at least in America, that we can accept a SWAT team approach, dragging athletes out in the middle of the night and asking them to provide a specimen, and that isn't necessary.
And no sooner had Ben Johnson been disgraced and sent home to Canada than the Dallas Cowboys expressed interest in his being a wide receiver. I talked with Tex Schramm of the Cowboys. Does he agree with Dr. Voy's speculation?
I'm not sure that it's that widespread, but I'm not naive enough to believe that it is not present, just as I'm obviously not naive enough to believe that we don't have some cocaine and some of the other drug problems.
Tex, have you made contact with Ben Johnson yet?
Not with Ben Johnson. We inquired about him, and then I had a call from one of his, business representatives, and he heard that I was interested, that we were interested, and I said, look, we're not interested till next spring. I said, we're in the middle of a football season. If he wants to come down and run for us, we'd love to see whether he can catch a football, but we'd also, he'd have to get his personal life, I think, straightened away before we would be interested.
But just from a public relations standpoint, Tex, don't you think it was a bit inappropriate for the National Football League or a team to say, oh, sure, send us someone who has a problem. We'll take him here. He may not be good enough for the Olympics, but he may be good enough for the National Football League.
Well, as I say, I think it was taken a little bit out of context and a little bit out of proportion. But if it has that reaction, then I'm sorry it has that reaction.
As for NFL policy, They do test for steroids. The results, as with all drug testing, are kept confidential. But the league says suspensions for steroid use are not expected during the 1988 season. We'll be back with the Bears in just a minute.
NFL Live is brought to you by Volkswagen. Experience German engineering the Volkswagen way. By Coors Light. There's no slowing down with the silver bullet. It's the right beer now. And by Burger King, where we do it like you do it.
We used to sell a Volkswagen for people with more sense than money. We still do. Before you buy a car, test drive a Volkswagen Fox at your local Volkswagen dealer.
Last year, half of our sales were of products that didn't even exist 5 years ago, like our pacemaker that changes speed to meet demands on the heart. We're Siemens USA, leaders in medical engineering, telecommunications, energy, automation, and electronics, with 23 research and development centers coast to coast, helping to build a stronger, more productive America. We are Siemens USA.
Just join the jumping. It's really jumping.
Jump into Burger King and say, and play triple jump checkers. It's easy to play, just like checkers, and easier to win, because every card can win if you make the right moves. Win up to $1 million instantly, or tasty food prizes, or collect to win a cruise, a dream house, or a Pontiac Grand Prix. Triple jump checkers. Every card has a prize on it, so every card can win.
I mean, let's join the jumping.
Kingney.
Oktoberfest can be very boring, you know. Pa. Now, it's Coors Light Rocktoberfest. 31 days of rock and roll, parties, and Coors Light, the silver bullet, the beer that won't slow you down. Plus, there's posters of me and the guys at your store. October will never be boring again. Pa.
One of the top games today, the upstart, undefeated Buffalo Bills going into Chicago to take on those big, bad Chicago Bears. Is a defensive struggle on tap? Paul McGuire spent some time with the Bears.
After the first quarter of the season, the Bears are doing more than holding their own. With the loss of all-pro linebackers Wilbur Marshall and Otis Wilson, among others, the Bears' defense is #1 against the rush, #2 against the pass, and tops overall in defense.
When you take something away from a team, you know, we've had a lot of great football players leave the football team in the past 2 years, particularly last year. People realize that, hey, we can't gripe. We can't take anything for granted. When we get out there on the field, we have to let it go. I mean, everything we have to put into winning a football game.
We've shown you the grades. Now here are the numbers behind the high marks. The Chicago Bears are giving up an average of 78.5 yards per game rushing. How does that compare to the rest of the league? The rest of the league, 120.8 yards per game. Now, as an old linebacker, I've learned, if you stop the rush, you force the offense to pass. And with an aggressive defensive line like the Bears have, opposing quarterbacks have only completed 44.4% of their passes.
Offensively, running back Neil Anderson has made football without Walter Payton bearable. The NFL's #5 rusher and his running mates have made the Bears' rushing attack the best in the league.
They made the comparisons between Walter and Gail Sayers when Walter came in. But all you can do is go out and be yourself and do your job. And hopefully a few years down the road, they'll make some comparisons. When a new guy comes in and he'll say, what do you think about that old guy, Neil Anderson? So, hopefully I can keep that tradition going.
The passing game, well, it's just okay. Some think it's improved, even though quarterback Jim McMahon is ranked 20th.
Before, the Bears were known as one-dimensional. I mean, they led the league in rushing for a number of years, but that's all they did. They couldn't really throw the ball, weren't really known as a passing team. And this year, it's more versatile. We can throw the ball when we have to. We can run the ball when we have to. We have so many more weapons now than we had before.
For a long period of time, the consensus was the Chicago Bears cannot win without Jim McMahon.
Well, it makes it hard to win without him. I think he provides great leadership for us, even though physically he's not on a level with some of the other top-name quarterbacks in the league. But I think that he brings an ability to win, and he makes people play a little better and a little harder at times. 2 years ago, I was told that by a lot of people we couldn't win without him, and I believed it. Right now, I still really think that we need Jim McMahon to be the best football team we can be.
I got to ask you, you chew so much gum. Have you ever dislocated your jaw? I've never seen anybody chew gum as fast as you can chew gum.
Paul, there are people all over America that hope I dislocate my jaw doing something so I don't make as much noise. Nah, I don't chew gum. My mother told me when I was a kid, she said, son, you do not chew gum. You do attack gum. I do attack it. I wear it out.
You know, some people say, Lenny, that the Bears, who have they beaten? You know, they're 3-1. Any given Sunday, and that's that old cliche or whatever it is, that any given Sunday someone can win. And I think the example is when the Atlanta Falcons played the San Francisco 49ers and destroyed them. And Atlanta's not supposed to have a pretty good football team. But any Sunday, and when you beat a team in the National Football League, you're playing professional football players.
I love that. He attacks his gum. All right,
Great.
Time for your picks. Who do you like in that game? The Bills will have their field goal kicker as their offense. The Bears are favored with their defense.
You can't miss this football game. This is going to be one of the best defensive struggles all year long. The Bears are so good defensively. The Bills, you know, last week they said they scored a lot of points. That's not so. I mean, the points were on a board. They had 5 field goals. They had 2 blocked punts. 1 resulted in a touchdown. They only had 2 touchdowns by the offense. So I think the Bills are going to have the biggest test they've had all year long with the Chicago Bears, and it's a 4-point game. I like the Bears in this game.
All right, the Jets are favored. They're hosting Kansas City. The Jets have allowed the fewest points of anybody. Speaking of defense, Wesley Walker, their fine wide receiver, will know at game time if he can play with a rib injury.
Well, let me explain something to you. The Kansas City Chiefs have not beaten the New York Jets in New York since 1969. They are due. They've got an excellent defense. Deron Cherry just signed a big contract, which is going to make everybody else play well because they want to get the $7 million he got for 1 year. So I think the Kansas City Chiefs getting 5.5 points should win this game. They'll win it outright.
Will you ever pick the Jets in your lifetime?
Yes. I picked them last year.
Oh, really?
No, 2 years ago I picked them once.
Once, right. There it is. All right, the Steelers are favored hosting the Browns. Pittsburgh has allowed lots of points, but Cleveland doesn't score much either.
No, this is another defensive struggle today. Cleveland's really hurting without Kozar. I mean, they're just not, obviously they're not the same football team. Pittsburgh Steelers had a tough loss against Buffalo a week ago, and also the one against the Washington Redskins. But they're at home, and that's the key to this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers at home. I think the Steelers will win this football game.
Big one is the Broncos favored. They're at the Chargers, but the Broncos have lost 3 games to teams within their division already. This is a must-win now for John Elway, who's, what, suffered 8 interceptions already?
Yeah, it's scary. You know, when you start out the season, in the first 5 games of the season, you're playing in your division, and then lose 3 of them like they've done. I think Elway's pressing. When I looked at him Monday night, Elway's just, it's like he's taking everything on his shoulders. He's going to do it all, and he can't. You've got to depend on the other players. And I think you look at his feet, he's got the yips, he's back there, and he's trying to force things. He's going back to not being smart, but trying to control the game with his arm. He can't do that. I think he learned a valuable lesson Monday night. And even coming off a Monday night game and a loss, I think that the Denver Broncos will destroy San Diego.
Well, one other note in that game, one of their weapons, their wide receiver, Rick Massey, he boarded the team plane for the flight to San Diego yesterday, but he was struck by acute claustrophobia. He deplaned. The Broncos then chartered a limousine for the 20-hour drive to San Diego. At last check, he hasn't arrived yet. We'll be back with the Mark Gastineau story when we return on NFL Live in just a minute.
I used to put in 5-6 hours of TV a day. Now I can't get near it. My parents always have it. You see, Stanley's giving away these home improvement videotapes when you buy a Stanley tool. So now they're doing a few projects in every room in the house. So what am I supposed to do now?
You can mow the lawn.
Clean your room.
Read a book.
Get a job.
Get a job, yeah.
Get a free home time video. Win a Chevy truck, a $20,000 home improvement, and $1,000 worth of Stanley tools in the Stanley Home Improvement Challenge.
Oh, hot! Designer sweats, remote control, everything. VP at 28. Whoa. My imported beer, whatever's in this week.
When you're done kidding around, Heineken.
Do you know what it's like to walk out onto the fresh-cut grass at Yankee Stadium the morning before the game? Now you do. Adidas Aftershave and Cologne. The essence of sports.
Tell me, is he still upset?
Well, you know Dad.
Never really understood why I joined. I mean, maybe you'll go straight to college. But I had to prove something to myself first.
The GI Bill and Army College Fund. If you qualify, you can get more than $25,000 for college and an edge on life.
Do you think Dad will ever come around? Dad?
WMMS Morning Zookeeper, Jeff Kinsbach.
We're back with more easy money. This Thursday morning, you can win another $10,000 if your birthday matches the one in this envelope. Put your radio on WMMS. That's 100.7 FM and listen at 7:20 Thursday morning for your chance to win $10,000.
WMMS. More music, fun, and easy money guaranteed.
Thursday morning at 7:20 on MMS. Somebody's going to win $10,000, right?
You know, one of the early candidates for Comeback Player of the Year is the colorful Mark Gastineau of the Jets. Knee surgery, ill feelings during the strike among his teammates, a public relationship with actress Brigitte Nielsen. All of that has given Gastineau more publicity than anything he's done lately on the field. But now he's among the leaders in the AFC in sacks, and he's been named a game captain for the first time. I asked him about it.
It's a big honor for me, Lynn, that Coach Walton had enough faith in me this week to choose me as the captain against Kansas City, and yes, it is a big honor. I'm very pleased.
Mark, your job was really on the line. You were being criticized by teammates, by fans, by media. It was all coming down. You weren't speaking with the media for a while. What turned it around for you?
Right now, the turnaround and everything, I think, is the stability that I've got at the home front in my personal life, and that stems from Gita, from Bridget. She's added so much to my life that even though the negative things were being said, I could just shrug them off, and you know, it didn't mean anything to me.
Mark, you've started celebrating again after a sack. Has anybody said anything to you about it?
No, they haven't. It's really not a sack dance or anything that you could call taunting or anything like that. In fact, it's something that, to me, is the absolute opposite of taunting, and it's done for somebody that's very special to me.
Can you tell us what you're doing? It looks like you're spelling something in midair.
No, I'm sure, Lynn. I'll let you figure it out. I can't. She knows what it is. Well, see, I already told on myself.
There you go. All right, we get the idea.
It's for somebody that's special.
How would you feel about random drug testing for all players?
I think it's fair. I mean, you know, there's nothing that should be said against it. If they want to test, I mean, it's their prerogative, I think, because they've got a team that they've got to care for and watch out for, and if they want to see what is happening to their teams and to their players, I think that they've got every right.
That's not the position, though, of the entire Players Association. You know, through 4 weeks around the league, scoring is down. It's the lowest total of points scored in 10 years in the National Football League. One of the reasons why, not only the contributions of Gastineau and others, but the more liberal pass defensive back rules. They can use their hands more in games. And what else is going on in the NFL this week?
Certainly the Giants defense. They're hoping that they can keep the Washington Redskins offense down with the help of one Lawrence Taylor. After serving a 30-day suspension, LT is back. Taylor said little upon his return Wednesday, but he sounded like a man who, realizing his problem, could use some help in staying off drugs. And he's looking for that help, not only from the experts, but from others.
I would also like to thank the many fans who supportively sent me cards and letters on my behalf. I would appreciate continued support from the Giants, my teammates, and above all, the Giant fans in my fight against this problem.
LT's rehab includes a lot of golf, and it has been open to criticism. Will it work?
He's undergoing the prescribed treatment, and I didn't prescribe it, and hopefully it'll work out.
Vikings defensive end Bubba Baker says he didn't intentionally poke Eagles tackle Ron Heller in the eye last Sunday. NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle doesn't believe Baker. Rozelle suspended Baker for 1 game and fined the veteran defensive lineman $20,000. And Seattle's Kelly Stover makes his first NFL start at quarterback today against Atlanta. His touchdown pass last week impressed his coaches, but he paid the price, breaking his nose on the play. Stover waited a long time for a chance at that broken nose. In other news around the league, Buffalo's Bruce Smith, also suspended for 30 days, is back in the lineup for the Bills. He'll be ready to go against the Bears. More NFL Live in just a moment.
It is one of the largest luxury hotel chains in the world. It is a leader in defense technology. It is one of the fastest growing financial service companies in America. It is a leader in automotive products and braking systems. It is ITT. A new ITT. If you're looking for a company that knows how to build businesses into leaders, this is it.
From the people who taught you to expect a lot of car for the money, well, here comes another lesson. Before you buy a car, test drive a Fox at your local Volkswagen dealer.
Daddy, I want my teddy bear.
I want my Serta.
Get comfortable. Get a Serta Perfect Sleeper. It'll spoil you for sleeping any other way.
I want my Serta.
Will your new car outlive your new car loan? Give your engine extra protection with STP's new Super Wear Control. It helps your car run like you longer, so you have something to show for your investment down the road.
And a couple of notes now. Linebackers. Andre Tippett won't dress for the Patriots. He has a groin injury. And in that game, Fred Young, who came to the Colts in a big trade, won't start, but he's not hurt. And we have rain today in Pittsburgh. The idea of an NFL team coveting an Olympic star is nothing new. The Browns are interested in the silver medalist in the 400 meters, Butch Reynolds. Through the years, 19 medal winners have played in the NFL with mixed results. The most famous, Jim Thorpe.
The most successful was the explosive Ollie Matson. He won a couple of medals in the 1952 Olympics. And then he went on to star in the National Football League with the Cardinals and Rams before finishing up with the Lions. Bob Hayes twice struck gold in the 1964 Summer Games in Tokyo. By winning the 100 meters, he was the world's fastest man. The Dallas Cowboys signed him, and he went on to set 8 Cowboy receiving and punt return records. But others were not as successful. Speedster Johnny Lamb Jones, he spent an injury-plagued 7 years with the Jets. Sam Grady beat Ben Johnson for the silver, but he has just 1 reception for the Broncos. Gold medal sprinter Ron Brown retired from the Rams after 4 seasons. The only Olympian who's currently successful in the NFL, a silver medalist shot putter, Michael Carter, the San Francisco All-Pro nose tackle.
But the Cowboys seem particularly awestruck by Olympians, and why not with the success of Bob Hayes? They even drafted Carl Lewis a few years back. But America's team showing immediate interest in an alleged cheater, Ben Johnson, at a time when the NFL is fighting a drug problem, that's not the correct message to be sending out. At the very least, it's a public relations blunder. And that'll do it for NFL Live. For Paul and Gail, Len Berman in New York. We'll see you at halftime, everybody.
They arrived as athletes and will leave as Olympians. The closing ceremony of the Games of the 24th Olympiad, tonight.
How did natural gas get to be right for our climate? It started when East Ohio Gas built a pipeline from West Virginia to bring clean, convenient, economical energy here. As East Ohio Gas celebrates its 90th anniversary, our goals are still the same. The best energy service, the lowest energy cost. Our employees are proud of the company they keep. On behalf of all of us, thank you to over 1 million East Ohio customers.
There are those who fervently believe that true perfection is found in the details. At the Bavarian Motor Works, we gave that belief a name. We call it the BMW 735i. Beautiful, to be sure. Yet perhaps the most beautiful thing about it is its spirit.
Visit your Northeast Ohio BMW dealer for a thorough test.
General Grabber Off-Road Performance Series goes all the way.
Get your weather from Steve Brown and Terry Burhans on Channel 3 News.
Long years ago when I played the Browns, they brought out the best in me, and I look forward to playing them, whether it's on the grass field or the turf or even in Lake Erie. I look forward to playing the Browns.
The Browns and the Steelers are one of the biggest rivalries in professional football. It's a game that both teams look forward to each and every year.
The National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today, from Three Rivers Stadium, it's the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Budweiser, proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. This Bud's for you. And by GTE. At GTE, the power is on.
Let's go.
Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, and as always, a sellout crowd for the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jim Donovan, along with Reggie Rucker. If you look at the AFC Central Division race, the Browns and Steelers both need the ball game badly, but Reggie, the game means so much more.
Yes, Jim, I've wondered as a broadcaster and as a player, what makes this game so special? Now I think I know. You know, the Bradshaws and the Sipes, the Harrises and the Pruitts come and go, but the thing that makes this game so special are the people of the two cities. They demand more from this game than any other game. It's the Army-Navy of pro football. It's a game for the people as much as it is for the players.
Overcast skies in Pittsburgh on Sunday, number 5 in the NFL. And you know, if you really take a look at the Cleveland Browns, they need this one so badly. They're 2-2, a disappointing loss last week to the Cincinnati Bengals down in Cincinnati. And the same is true for the Pittsburgh Steelers. After winning on opening week here at home against Dallas, they have lost 3 in a row. And so these teams are playing come-from-behind football within the division.
And some people ask, why isn't this game like the other Pittsburgh Cleveland games? And I think it's because there's a team for the first time in this series in a long time ahead of this. Both clubs 4-0, the Cincinnati Bengals. They're both chasing Cincinnati.
Chuck Noll wants his team to hold on to the football. They've been turning it over a lot, 11 times in the last 2 games. They'll hold on to it first as they will receive the Cleveland kickoff. The Browns going with Mike Pagel at quarterback. This is his 3rd start. But remember this, Bernie Kosar is the only Cleveland quarterback to ever win in this stadium. Twice. They've only won twice the last 2 years in a row.
I think if there's a game in which Mike Pagel will gel, it should be this game. For the 3rd week in a row now, Mike Pagel is starting, and the club should come together under him at this point.
This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Sellout crowd at Three Rivers Stadium.
One of the things that the Steelers do well on special teams is they are an outstanding kick returning group. And Dwight Stone, number 20, and Rod Woodson, number 26, you'll find 2 of the fastest men in the National Football League returning this kickoff.
Matt Barr has it ready to go this afternoon. And as Reggie said, the Steelers hope to win the special teams war here this afternoon, as they have been very good returning kicks this year, and Cleveland has had a bit of a down start to their special teams. Woodson from the 10. Out over the 25-yard line, out to the 26, and that's where Bubby Brister and the Pittsburgh offense will get the start. Marlon Jones is in on the tackle. Here's the Steeler offense. Brister, Warren Williams getting the start at running back, a rookie out of Miami. Louis Lips off to a great start, 14 catches on the year. The Steeler offensive line has had to be put back together because of injuries. Brian Blankenship gets the start at left guard. They've had 4 left guards this year. Dermontti Dawson was hurt last week when he got the start, a rookie, and he was injured with a knee injury and was operated on.
30 seconds clock, please. Thank you.
Your referee checking in today, Dick Hantag, getting the 30-second clock and the play clock all set to go. And we wait for the Steelers to break the huddle, and here they come with Bubby Brister. 1st and 10, Steelers. First possession of the game at the 26 of Pittsburgh. Lips in motion. And they'll go to the rookie Warren Williams. And Williams goes out for a couple of yards out near the 28-yard line. Tackle made by the nose tackle, 79, Bob Golick, and Sam Clancy was there. Here's the Browns' defensive starting lineup. Clancy, Golick, Hairston. Hairston had a tough day in Cincinnati last week with a couple of toe injuries, and he also got poked in the eye. Good linebacking crew. Johnson and Junkin inside are very good to watch. And the secondary for the Browns will have Frank Minifield back in there. The All-Pro sat out last week with a calf muscle injury against Cincinnati. And they go with a rookie safety, Brian Washington. 2nd down and 8, a gain of 2 for Williams on that first out play. Brister to Jackson. And Jackson goes out over the 30-yard line, out near the 34. Felix Wright and Mike Junkin team up on the tackle for Cleveland.
You're looking at a Pittsburgh offense that has been extremely explosive with the pass. But Chuck Noll, it is his philosophy to run the football to control the game. They haven't had a lot of success running the football, and over the years, when the Steelers, when a Steeler running back has been able to run the football,
as an eligible player, number 77.
When a Steeler running back has been able to rush for over 100 yards, they stand a good chance of winning the football game.
Merrill Hodge checks into the backfield on 3rd down and 2. Warren Williams, the rookie, with a big block to the outside. 45 to the 46-yard line. Hanford Dixon on the tackle. Wolfley got him around the corner, and a 1st down for the Steelers.
You're going to see outstanding blocking on the right side. Watch number 42, Warren Williams, a rookie. There's Terry Long, number 74, with a good block on number 31, Frank Minifield. Williams cuts back inside, and that's what the Steelers want to do. Pound the ball up inside behind Webster, and when they get an opportunity, use the speed of Williams on the outside.
13 yards and a 1st down at the Pittsburgh 46-yard line. Ernest Jackson back into the lineup. And here comes Jackson to the outside. Pounded out by Felix Wright. David Grayson, 56, the outside linebacker, was chasing and actually gave Wright an opportunity to come up and drive him out of bounds.
David Grayson, number 56, is a big story this year for the Cleveland Browns. Signed as a replacement player a year ago, he has been nothing short of spectacular for the Cleveland Browns. He is their leading sack artist with 3, and he showed you just then that he is learning to play the run very well. He used his hands extremely well that time and kept that run outside.
No gain, 2nd down and 10 as you look at Bubby Brister. Steelers in the I formation. Lips and Thompson are the wide receivers. Thompson to the top. Lips now in motion, 83. First pass for Bubby. And he connects. Ouija Thompson on the catch, and a Pittsburgh 1st down to the Cleveland 42-yard line.
They really like Bubby Brister in Pittsburgh. 6'3", 210 pounds with a shotgun of an arm. Good pass protection right there. Now watch him rifle this thing out to the outside. Now, Ouija Thompson is 6 feet 7 inches tall. He's known as being one of the outstanding blocking wide receivers in all of pro football, but he is going to have a height mismatch all day long against Dixon, who is 5'10", and Minifield, who is 5'9".
12-yard pass play from Brister to Thompson. Wide receivers on the top of the screen, same side of the field. First time we've seen that formation. On 1st and 10. Again, they go to the outside. And Jackson finds good running room up near another Pittsburgh first down to the Cleveland 32. He's driven out by the inside linebacker, Mike Johnson.
And why is this possible? Well, in pro football, as you watch Ernest Jackson here, who has been plagued by fumbles all year long. Good move inside. You see, Jackson made a move inside. He got the defenders to freeze for one moment. He really isn't that fast to get around the outside, but because he made that good move to set up the move outside, he was successful.
They are really picking on this near side of the Browns defense as you watch it. Getting to that outside. Second down and really less than one. And they'll go to Williams. And he should have the first down up near the 30-yard line. Wrapped around his legs, Sam Clancy, who went to the University of Pittsburgh and was a great basketball player there. He averaged 10.6 rebounds a game there. And then he turned to football, and he's done very well with the Browns.
It's always been the Steelers' philosophy, particularly when they play Cleveland. They must control the line of scrimmage. They have had an outstanding offensive line for as long as Mike Webster at center has anchored it. And they're doing that right now. They are controlling the line of scrimmage early in the game.
Bubby Brister barking out signals down to Lewis Lips at the bottom of your screen. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh. Jackson. And Cleveland surrounds him. Mike Junkin, Sam Clancy. Wrap up Ernest Jackson for a loss of the play as Terry Long was out there all by himself trying to block a whole bunch of Browns.
Here's what Cleveland didn't do last week against Cincinnati when Cincinnati gained 213 yards. Watch the white shirts get beyond the line of scrimmage into the backfield. That's how you stop the running game. You get penetration like you see number 91, Sam Clancy, number 57, Clay Matthews, number 54 making the tackle, Mike Junkin. You get across the line of scrimmage and you don't get blocked.
Loss of 2 back to the 32-yard line. 2nd and 12. Oh, a lot of time for Brister. And he overthrows Weegee Thompson down at the Cleveland 20-yard line. Hanford Dixon was over there. And Reggie, you're right. That is a big height advantage.
Yes, he is. And the one thing that Brister is going to see that he hadn't seen before is the tight, bumpy run coverage. That is the late Art Rooney, the late owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And the Steelers wearing Art Rooney's initials on their uniforms in memory of their owner. Art Modell said this game carries a little bit of sympathy coming into this one. A sad day for him as he and the chief, Art Rooney, would always gather before the game and talk it over. Great rivalry between the owners. A healthy rivalry between the owners. 3rd down and 12 now for Pittsburgh. Into the lineup now, Rodney Carter. Number 24 for the Steelers. Across the middle, Thompson cannot hold on down at the 21-yard line. As they have gone exclusively to Weegee Thompson, Mark Harper, and Will Hill over on the coverage for the Cleveland Browns. And Pittsburgh stalls offensively after they had moved down pretty well and pretty easily down into Browns territory.
They've had some problems with receivers catching footballs. Brister throws the ball so strongly, so powerfully. He's going to have to learn how to take just a little bit off of those short passes so that his receivers can make catches on them.
Gary Anderson, 5 for 8. Out of the hold of Harry Newsome, a 49-yard field goal attempt to try and give Pittsburgh the lead as the sun comes out at Three Rivers. Plenty on it. And the Steelers lead 3-0 on the 49-yard field goal by Gary Anderson, his 6th of the season. So the Steelers cash in off the opening kickoff. Let's see what the Browns do when we return.
Lucky shot, yeah, right. Watch this next one. I'm going to even open my eyes.
A performance you won't forget.
The Steelers jump out on top. A 49-yard field goal by Gary Anderson. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Good drive by the Steelers, and there is Anderson. 10:26 left to go, first quarter. I'm Jim Donovan, along with Reggie Rucker, Glenn Young, and Herman Fontenot back deep for the Browns. Young is at the top of your screen, 83. Fontenot is 28. And it will be Glenn Young from his 8. Out to the 20-yard line, and that's the end of that. Darren Jordan, 55, a rookie linebacker out of Northeastern University, makes the tackle for the Steelers. Mike Pagel and the Browns offense. Let's take a look at who starts for Cleveland. Pagel with Biner and Mack. Slaughter, Langhorne, and Ozzie Newsome. You heard from Ozzie at the top of the show. The offensive line, Greg Riccozzi had his best start at center last week against Tim Crumry, the fine nose tackle of Cincinnati. 1st and 10, Cleveland. Last week, we watched them early against Cincinnati try and pound the ball with the running game, and it blew up on them when Kevin Mack fumbled on the first possession that the Browns had, and the Bengals took it in for a touchdown. Let's see what they do offensively here in Pittsburgh. Up top. And a nice catch by Reggie Langhorne, and a good catch by Langhorne. They say he's in over the 30-yard line, up near a first down, and this is what Pittsburgh and Cleveland's all about.
Well, usually it's the first team to get the intimidating advantage, and I don't know what happened before that. We saw number 74, Paul Farron, slugging it out. That's not such a wise thing to do. Those helmets hurt. He was firing away. Let's take another look at it. The Browns come out throwing. The Pittsburgh Steelers are last in the league in pass defense. Langhorne extended well, makes the catch, stays in bounds. Good play. That's a good start for Mike Pagel.
Well, we had flags down, and they had personal fouls on both teams. Dick Hantak is your referee. And he'll explain it to us in a second here on a nice catch by Reggie Langhorne. They move the ball out to where the catcher's made.
Personal foul. Offense, number 74. Personal foul. 97 defense. Please are offset. First down.
They're not only offsetting, but they came after the catch by Langhorne.
Foul.
Yeah.
Yes. Aaron Jones, number 97, the first-round draft choice of the Pittsburgh Steelers, slugging away with Paul Farron. Now watch the shot. Ooh, good right hand. A couple of super heavyweights there.
Jim Donovan with the fight doctor. Reggie Rucker here, and on our counter-punch stat, Farron's in front there, landing 100%.
I'd never do that, Jim. I mean, you could break your hand, folks. That's not wise.
Brown's ready to come up.
I'm surprised that Farron's doing that. He's from Boston University. That's a pretty good school.
31-yard line after the catch made by Langhorne, and some discussion now by the officials. Might be taking a look at this replay-wise on the catch by Langhorne. 10-12 left to go. There's the replay booth here at Three Rivers. Jack Fett is our replay official. Looking it over. The ball is at the 31-yard line. The Browns are ready to come up to the line of scrimmage. Marty Schottenheimer looking down at his play selection. Pagel starts the game off with a pass connection to Langhorne. And their first run. Ernest Biner out to the Cleveland 35-yard line. Let's take a look at the Steeler defense, and they have had a lot of injuries here. Ben Thomas gets the start at defensive end. Williams and Gary join him. Aaron Jones, the rookie, is normally the defensive end, but he's had to go to outside linebacker. Hardy Nickerson, a starting linebacker for the Steelers, is out injured. That's why you have all the adjustments. Woodson goes to a cornerback position. Gowdy and Everett start at the safeties, and Dwayne Woodruff is the other corner. A gain of 4 for Biner, 2nd down and 6. Reggie Langhorne in motion. Kevin Mack. And the Steelers snuff that out very well. Brian Hinkle and Aaron Jones, the two outside linebackers, team up on the tackle.
What you have to remember about the Cleveland Browns offensively is that they are a ball possession offense. They don't have the big play type of player, the player with the speed that can break it on any one play. So what they like to do is they like to maintain possession of the ball. They like to pick up first downs, and they do that by getting everybody involved in the offense. Now, Bernie Kosar was a master at that. We'll have to wait and see if Mike Pagel is picking up that trait.
Steelers bring in an extra defensive lineman. Tim Johnson and Keith Gary come into the lineup, and an extra defensive back on 3rd down and 6. Pagel to a wide-open Slaughter. Incomplete on the overthrow. They had 6 points if they could have connected.
Now, that's the kind of pass that number 19 of the Cleveland Browns, Bernie Kosar, specializes in. He is the best passer in the game when it comes to that. Now, this is what you lose when you don't have a Kosar, because this is a touchdown. Slaughter, right in the middle of your screen, has beaten Woodson, that's Greg Lee, the nickelback, for a touchdown, and that's the problem the Browns are having. Pagel just doesn't have the same touch on the deep throw.
Max Runniger gets the punt away. Woodson will run over to the sideline, but this one's going out of bounds. And the Steelers will get pretty good field position, too, at their own 27-yard line on a 37-yard effort by Max Runniger. As you look at Mark Harper, one of the fine Browns special teams players. So the Browns do not connect on a would-be touchdown pass, and Pittsburgh leads 3-0.
Light. It is magical, powerful, essential. At GTE, we place that power at the touch of your hand. The power to open up any darkness. To illuminate the facts of science. Brighten the arenas of sports and business. Create the warm glow that means home. At GTE, we give you the power of light in 6,000 ways. None of them small. At GTE, the power is on.
This sedan offers a refreshing blend of form and function. And if you like its form, wait until you experience its function. Ford Tempo. A more sophisticated way to express your driving ambition.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Leave it in good hands, people.
You could bag your lunch to help save for that new house.
You want whole wheat or rye?
Give me rye.
Or you could save on homeowners insurance.
You want mustard or mayo?
Mayo.
Up to 15% off the insurance on newer homes with the Allstate New House discount. So why bag your lunch? Save on homeowners insurance.
Mixed fruit or pudding?
Do you want the truth?
Call and ask about the Allstate New House discount. Another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Our first look at our 10-minute ticker on Sunday number 5 in the NFL. Big game at Soldier Field. Scoreless. And Washington ahead of the Giants 6-3 in that NFC Eastern Division battle. Remember, the Giants won the opening game of the season when they played at Giant Stadium. And Green Bay leads over Tampa Bay. Packers and Lindy Infante, the former offensive coordinator with the Browns, looking for his first win. And our score 3-0 Steelers. Second possession, Bubby Brister and Pittsburgh. They got a field goal on their first one. Brister for Lips. Incomplete. Had it down by his midsection on a low crouch at the 40-yard line, but he couldn't hang on.
That's a pass that Lewis Lips should catch 99 times out of 100. Good pattern that time he ran against Frank Minifield. Frank Minifield isn't playing as much bump and run as he normally does. I wonder if he's just easing back into things. He missed last week's game because of a groin injury, and a groin injury can be a very difficult thing for a defensive back to overcome, particularly when he's playing bump and run coverage.
2nd down and 10 from the Pittsburgh 27-yard line. Williams and Jackson set behind Bubby Brister. Williams busy here in the first quarter, goes out to the 32-yard line. Mike Junkins down at his ankles, 54, the second-year linebacker for the Browns out of Duke. Also getting up off the stack, Clay Matthews.
All right, number 43 is Jackson. Watch the block by Jackson on Junkin. Pretty good block there. They come straight ahead, nothing fancy. They just are looking to establish some kind of running game, and they just haven't had it. And I know Chuck Noll has not been very happy with the lack of an ability to run the football.
3rd down and 5 from the 32-yard line. Merrill Hodge and Rodney Carter, 2 receiving backs into the lineup for Pittsburgh. For Carter, and the ball was thrown on the wrong side of him as Clay Matthews, 57, the outside linebacker for the Browns, was blowing in there, and they had a safety blitz going too as Felix Wright was in there, so Brister might have released the pass a little quickly.
I would think that you might see a lot of that from Cleveland today. When you have a young quarterback, Brister's in his 3rd year, but this is his 1st year starting. You give him a lot of different looks, show some blitzes, change the coverage, anything to confuse a young quarterback.
Harry Newsome had a very adventuresome week in Buffalo last Sunday. 2 punts were blocked, one of them for a touchdown.
And the reason why they say is that Newsome lines up too shallow. He lines up 13 yards when most kickers line up 15.
Flag is being thrown down against the Steelers as somebody grabbed Clarence Weathers when he was coming in to try and go after Newsome. This is Gerald McNeil, and another flag will be thrown on Cleveland as Stephen Braggs blocked from behind. So you got two flags, one just when Newsome was punting, and the other one when McNeil was running around. 60 yards on the punt by Newsome.
Good kick by Newsome. He put the ball exactly where he wanted to, down in the corner. He limited the Browns' return, and the Steelers had outstanding coverage. You know, he had 2 punts blocked last week against the Buffalo Bills, and the point I was making, the Bills thought that Newsome was lining up at 13 yards rather than 15. They thought they could get to him, and they were able to get 2 kicks.
Let's sort it out now and go down to the field.
We have ineligible, number 33 on the offensive team down early. We have holding on the offense, number 91. We have illegal block in the back, number 36 on the defense. Play 4th down.
Other than that, it was a pretty good punt. Marty Schottenheimer, and he's discussing with Stephen Braggs. He was the one for Cleveland that threw the illegal block. But, Reggie, here's the punt again.
All right. Watch on the left side of your screen. Number 91, Greg Carr, holds
Clarence Weathers.
Clarence Weathers. I'm not sure if we'll see who it is that's guilty of blocking in behind the back.
It's Braggs, 36.
There it is,
right
number
there.
36, right in the center of your screen. Braggs is guilty of that infraction, and they'll come back and do it again. I'm surprised that the Browns didn't attempt to go after this. You know, a few years ago, the Browns had an outstanding special teams reputation, blocking kicks, returning kicks for touchdowns.
Newsome again. This is a low punt, so McNeil should get a chance to go with it. Here he comes. Oh, and he's got a crease.
Had he not tripped, he'd been gone, Jim. Had he not tripped, he would have been gone for a touchdown.
2 years ago, he took a kickoff 100 yards here for a touchdown, and the Ice Cube, Gerald McNeil, brings it inside Pittsburgh territory.
It's just been this way all year long for the Cleveland Browns kick return teams. Now watch it. He breaks outside right here. Had he not slipped right there, he was gone for a touchdown.
A 31-yard return for McNeil.
A newly imported car has arrived. It comes from a company with a reputation for quality and design. And the automotive press here has already begun to praise it for its performance, styling, and value. The interesting thing is that here is Japan. And the car they're importing is the Ford Taurus.
Even in the world's most beautiful playgrounds, things don't always go so beautifully. So get Visa Gold, because we'll not only provide automatic car rental insurance for you, we'll deliver emergency cash and a new Visa Gold right to you, anywhere. And emergency cash is something American Express just can't deliver. Visa Gold, it's everywhere you want to be.
This is a machine designed to keep you on time. And this is what makes it tick. People. Working together with clock-like precision, each dedicated to keeping you on schedule. Time after time after time. American Airlines, the on-time machine.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here. The surprising Jets are soaring to new heights, but will they be grounded by Boomer Esiason and the undefeated Bengals?
Then John Elway tries to round the Broncos into championship form when they battle the San Francisco 49ers.
Before your team takes the field, catch NFL Live, only on NBC.
Mike Pagel has the Browns in Pittsburgh territory thanks to a 31-yard punt return by Gerald McNeil. Fake to Mack. This is for Langhorne. Still up for grabs in the end zone. Incomplete. Dwayne Woodruff on the coverage.
And that was a pretty nice throw by Mike Pagel. You need to do some of this. Whether you complete the pass or not, what it does is it pushes the defense. It stretches the defense. Now, here's the throw. It's a pretty good throw. Langhorne has his hands on the ball. He can't quite come down with it. That's outstanding coverage, however, by Dwayne Woodruff, breaking up that play. But that was a pretty nice pass by Mike Pagel.
So remember, in the first series, he had Webster Slaughter open, overshot him. This was a little bit closer to Langhorne. Pagel not far off. Second down 10, though, and here comes Mack. And he's inside the Pittsburgh 45-yard line. There's a loose ball. The Steelers say they have it. Officials not saying that Mack fumbled, though. And the play will stand. Cleveland holds on to the ball. Tackle made by Aaron Jones. What kind of adjustment is that to be on a defensive end spot as a rookie? And the Steelers' #1 choice, Aaron Jones, is and was for the first 4 games, and now you're at outside linebacker.
Well, it's got to be extremely difficult for him to adjust to that mentally, but the thing in the Steelers' favor is that they had been using number 97, Aaron Jones, at a number of positions anyway, and therefore I think the transition back to linebacker isn't as severe as it might otherwise have been. 3rd down and 7 from the 45. 4 wide receivers in. The Browns connect. Reggie Langhorne has it, but I think he might be short of the first down. It depends on the spot. It's inside the 40-yard line, or he's very close. He is very, very close as the official puts it down. Langhorne had it and then got very close to the sticks, and so close that they'll call for a measurement. Well, this was a rather ugly-looking pattern to begin with. The 2 receivers ran into each other. It wasn't a clean play. Had Langhorne been able to come off of the cut better, he may have had a bigger play.
Marty Schottenheimer wondering now, does he have the first down or a decision on 4th down?
Now here it is again. Watch left side of your screen. The 2 Browns receivers ran into each other. Somebody shouldn't have been there. And as a result of that, Langhorne couldn't get into the pattern. 4th down.
And the Browns will go for it. Derek Tennell, number 81, an extra tight end, is in.
As reported as an eligible player, number 77.
And Ricky Bolden checks in, and as you just heard referee Hantak say, he is an eligible player on that line.
I've always been told that any team that thinks itself cut of championship cloth ought to be able to make a half a yard.
So on 4th and inches, Fontenot in motion. Up over the top goes Kevin Mack. The crowd says he didn't get there. The Steelers say he didn't get there, but remember, he only needed a couple of inches.
Well, this is where you find all of your Madison Avenue lawyers down there now, jockeying for position. Let's take another look at it. Coming from the right side, it's Kevin Mack going high up in the air. Good hit by Greg Carr. That's where the play was made. Up in the air, number 91 met Kevin Mack, who is 230 pounds, and I'll tell you, this is very, very close.
Big measurement early in the game. Darren Jordan, 55 told to get out of the way so we can take a look at it. They didn't get it, Reggie.
I can't believe that. You have to be able to pick up less than a yard.
First down, Pittsburgh.
Over on downs, the Steelers have it.
I know that's very deflating to the Cleveland Browns, but on the other hand, very uplifting for the Pittsburgh Steelers and these fans here at Three Rivers Stadium.
And for the first time, the crowd is into the game after a fine defensive stand.
Every 3,000 miles, you can change your oil yourself, leave your car at the dealer, spend all day at the service station, or drive into Jiffy Lube with no appointment. In 10 minutes, the J-Team will change your oil with quality Pennzoil, replace the filter, lube the chassis, fill the important fluids, 14 quality services. Jiffy Lube turns an all-day oil change into a 10-minute family reunion.
Welcome to Jiffy Lube. We'll take care of you like family.
How can Allstate Universal Life help your wishes come true? By protecting your family while it helps you save. Allstate Universal Life, another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
If you think you might need some new hand tools, think about this. Sears Craftsman hand tools are built so tough, we guarantee them forever. And we mean forever.
Whether you work up a man-sized thirst or a man-sized thirst, nothing tackles it like Diet Coke. The real cola taste you can drink more of because it's just 1 calorie.
I'll flip you for it.
Heads again.
Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
They arrived as athletes and will leave as Olympians. The closing ceremony of the games of the 24th Olympiad tonight.
Here's why the Browns didn't make this play. Middle of your screen, number 98, right over Greg Riccozzi, gets inside, gets penetration. Mack has no place to run. He has to leap too soon, and he can't get to the leaping spot to pick up the first down.
Lewis slips in motion, 1st and 10, Pittsburgh. Warren Williams out of the tackle of Brian Washington and turns it into a gain out over the 40-yard line. Cleveland had a lot of white shirts around the play, but he got away from Washington, Williams did, and turns it into about a 3-yard gain, 4-yard gain, and it's 2nd and 6. Chicago jumps out. Houston, remember, they're 3-1 and right behind the Bengals in the AFC Central Division. Atlanta leads the Giants over Washington. That's at RFK, and Green Bay still holding a field goal edge over Tampa Bay. 5 minutes, 22 seconds remaining, first quarter. 3-0 Pittsburgh on a 49-yard field goal by Gary Anderson. From the Pittsburgh 41-yard line, Brister back to pass. He's dangerous when he gets outside, and he is outside. And a first down.
That's what you call escapability. This man has the unique quality of doing this type of thing, and he's been very successful with it in 1988. He gets away from people, and he has the speed to pick up first downs.
A reminder to our viewers that we will be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. 1st and 10 run for Bubby Brister out at the 48-yard line. Ouija Thompson to the top of your screen. Lewis slips down at the bottom. Jackson and Williams remain in the backfield. And again, he's got a lot of running room if he decides, but he's going to throw for Thompson. And a fine defensive play by Hanford Dixon, number 29 of the Browns. And a flag goes down, and it looks like they got Dixon hitting on Thompson.
The Browns are going to have to do something to contain Bubby Brister. They cannot allow Brister to roam around like this. They're going to have to employ what we call a spy, someone to keep Brister from doing this sort of thing.
First down.
Pass interference on number 29, Hanford Dixon. Brister threw that ball where he shouldn't have thrown it that time, but fortunately for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they come out of it with a first down. Here it is again. All right, watch it now. There's the contact prior to the ball arriving with the receiver. Hanford Dixon was not looking at the ball, and he was not making a play for the ball. He was making a play on the man all the way.
28 yards on that penalty. And a 1st and 10 for the Steelers now inside Cleveland territory, just inside the 25-yard line. Lips in motion, 3-0 Steelers. Ernest Jackson. Clay Matthews bangs him at the 20-yard line. So he'll get down to the 20, and that's the end of that play as they unstack.
And that's basically all Pittsburgh wants from Jackson. They want him to pound the ball up inside, pick up 4 yards if he can on first down. That gives Brister some second down play calling options. Let me expound a little bit on what I said about using a spy. That is usually someone, when you play against a running quarterback like Brister, you need a linebacker or a safety that will hover around the line of scrimmage so that Brister doesn't have a field day running around on you.
2nd down and 6. Jackson got 4 on that first down run at the Cleveland 20-yard line. Here comes Lips down the line of scrimmage. And this is Warren Williams. And the Browns get a grab on him as Sam Clancy got an arm on him from behind and brought him down inside the 20, down at the 18-yard line. And it will be 3rd down and 4 for Pittsburgh with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter.
This has been a tough defense, the Cleveland Browns, this year. They through it all, the adversity and so forth, they have been a rock, really. And even in the game against Cincinnati last week, they only gave up 17 points. And when you give up 17 points in the National Football League, you should win. They have not allowed a touchdown via the pass this year.
Charles Lockett is in for the first time today, number 89 at wide receiver, as you look at Bubby Brister, and he's got a 3rd down and 4.
I think the Browns should be coming here. Brister. Incomplete.
Throwing for Lockett, and you saw Hanford Dixon stay away from Lockett that time. There was no need to climb up on his back. The ball was delivered way off to the left.
That's the thing the Browns do probably better than anybody else in the NFL today. They shut you down on third down. They don't allow a lot of third down conversions.
Harry Newsom will hold for Gary Anderson. This team connected on a 49-yard field goal the first time that they tried. 1 for 1 today. 35-yard field goal attempt this time. 3:24 remaining. In the first quarter, Pittsburgh has moved but has not been able to get a touchdown as they go for their second field goal. And Anderson is 2 for 2 and off to a nice start this afternoon. And a 6-0 Pittsburgh lead. Well, you're in Steeler country this afternoon, but Cleveland's defense has bent a little bit, but they certainly haven't broken.
And they've gotten used to doing that without Kozar. They know that they have to keep their team in the ball game.
NBC Sports continues its coverage of the 1988 NFL season next Sunday with an exciting football doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live, then the AFC's top-rated passers. Square off when the New York Jets battle the red-hot Cincinnati Bengals, followed by a battle by the Bay when the Denver Broncos take on the San Francisco 49ers, plus regional action. Check local listings for the games and time in your area.
You know, we talk about this being one of pro football's oldest rivalries. There's Bernie Kosar talking to quarterback coach Mark Trestman. Kosar, and I'll get back to my point in a minute, Kosar just started throwing this week of some 20-25 yards, but I think the Browns feel that Kosar will be gone still maybe another 3 to 4 weeks before they really will be able to evaluate how quickly he can return.
After he threw some 70 passes a couple of days ago, he did experience a little bit of soreness in the elbow. No swelling, just soreness.
But team physician John Burkfield said that that's normal in an injury like Kosar's.
3:21 remaining here in the first quarter. Glenn Young, Herman Fontenot. Back deep for the Browns. Right on the goal line. Just a step in. Here comes Glenn Young. Good little cutback out over the 20-yard line to the 22, and a late flag goes down, and we'll check that out. Cornell Gowdy was in on the tackle, along with Henton, and the penalty going against the Browns again on special teams. They are getting flagged a lot.
Marty Schottenheimer, a man who made his living as a professional player, as a special teams member, he said, you know, when
illegal block in the back on the receivers, number 48. Penalties at the distance. First down.
Upon taking the job, Schottenheimer said, you know, offense is up and down on Sundays. Defense should be pretty constant, but the one area that we should always win, and I guarantee it, is special teams. And that is one of the areas that is hurting the Cleveland Browns this year. Let's take another look at number 83, Glenn Young. Coming from the right side of your screen, I think you're going to see it right there. Darren Jordan, number 55, was, well, Brian Washington, number 48. They actually had 2 people hitting from behind.
And because of the penalty, they are back deep in their own territory at the 11-yard line. That's what those flags on special teams do to you. They give you a lousy field position. Hagel to Newsom. A good connection last week in Cincinnati and a good start today here in Pittsburgh as he's out over the 15 to the 18-yard line. Ozzie Newsom, 132 games in a row now with a reception as the streak goes on for the great tight end out of Alabama.
And Ozzie Newsom is approaching the great Hall of Famer Fred Biletnikoff on the all-time NFL pass-catching list. I think he may need what now?
One more.
One more catch to pass Fred Biletnikoff of the Oakland Raiders.
That was career catch number 589 for Ozzie Newsom and a 7-yard gain. And that's what's important to Ozzie today. Tim Manoa out of Penn State. Second year for the Browns. As he visits Pittsburgh today, gets his first carry of the ball and gets out close to a first down near the 20-yard line.
Well, that's unusual to see Tim Manoa in there on the second series. I wonder if Kevin Mack is injured or whether someone is unhappy because he didn't pick up the first down the last time the Browns had the football.
Greg Carr and Rod Woodson team up on the tackle. Reggie Langhorne brings in the next play to that offensive team. Third down and 1. The ball is on the 20. Cleveland is 0 for 2 on third downs. And, of course, a major 0 for 1 on fourth downs. And the crowd back into it on 3rd and 1. This time it's Biner, and he's got more than the necessary 1 as he goes out over the 25 up to the 27-yard line. And a big first down for the Browns.
You can bet the Browns got a stern talking to when they missed that last 4th and inches it was. Watch this play now. Good blocking. You see Ricosi, number 73, blocking David Little, number 50, moves the middle linebacker out of there, and Ernest Biner, good cut back inside, good vision.
Thomas Everett, the free safety, came up to make the tackle. Ball is on the 27-yard line. 1st and 10. Cleveland. 1:15 and the clock running here in the first quarter. Mike Pagel, 3rd start of the year at quarterback for the Browns. And he's 1-1. Beat the Colts, lost to the Bengals. And this is Manoa. Manoa with a good surge. He's a bruiser out to the 30-yard line. Let's check in on Sunday number 5 in the NFL. The Bills undefeated in that game. Coming into the game in Chicago are on the board with a field goal. Houston leading Philadelphia. No score in New England. Seattle ahead over Atlanta. The Giants maintaining a 4-point lead, and the Packers in the second quarter lead over Tampa Bay. 6-0 here at Three Rivers Stadium. The Steelers 1-3, the Browns 2-2. 2 Gary Anderson field goals. Less than a half minute now remaining in the first quarter. 2nd down and 6. Straight back Pagel. And his first connection of the day with Webster Slaughter. Out over the 35-yard line. Brian Hinkle on the coverage. And near a Cleveland first down, and that should be the last play of the first quarter.
That's what Slaughter likes about Mike Pagel. He gets rid of the ball quickly, and he also throws the ball with great velocity. That is the difference between a Pagel and a Kozar. Pagel has a lot stronger arm, gets rid of the ball very quickly, and that time Slaughter went down, turned around.
Number 97, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 2nd down.
Aaron Jones was offside.
And they'd rather have the penalty than the play because it's still 2nd down and now 1 yard.
So that stopped the clock, and with 15 seconds, now they'll start it right up again. And they will probably end the first quarter right now, as Pagel will walk right over to the Browns sideline. Tight defensive struggle here at Three River Stadium through 1, and at the end of 1 quarter, the Steelers lead on 2 field goals.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. Number 60 was an unusual number for a quarterback, but this player won with unusual regularity. In 10 seasons as quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, he led his team to 10 championship games. Who was this legend?
All across America, companies are declaring Liberty for All. A revolutionary idea from Liberty Mutual Insurance, where employees can now save on all their auto, home, and life insurance through the convenience of payroll deductions. Liberty for All. It's freedom from bills and paperwork, and it can save you money.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Otto Graham was not only the winningest quarterback ever, he may have been football's most skilled passer and is truly a legend of the game.
The Acura Legend sedan offers such amenities as leather-trimmed interior, sophisticated stereo system, and ergonomically designed controls. Is it any wonder people enjoy sitting in it? And with its 24-valve 2.7-liter V6, is it any wonder they enjoy standing on it? The Legend sedan, precision-crafted performance from Acura.
It's America's Day at the Races, live from Churchill Downs. The Breeders' Cup, November 5th, only on NBC.
Jim Donovan and Reggie Rucker back at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers lead after 1. 6-0. Kevin Mack, remember on that 4th down play, he went leaping over the pack, banged up his knee, was checked out, and is appearing to be okay and might be back into the ball game soon. So that's why Tim Manoa is in there and is in there right now, and he's the lone back in the backfield.
And remember this, as big as Kevin Mack is, he's their fastest back.
2nd down and 1. Ball is on the Cleveland 36-yard line. Manoa. Boy, he'll get the 1 yard, and that's about it, too. Pittsburgh banged in there. David Little made the first hit, number 50, the inside linebacker. Then Cornell Gowdy came up from the secondary over the top and put him down, too.
Pretty good pressure here by number 98, Gerald Williams, who gets the best of it with Riccozzi there, and there isn't a lot of room to run. Fortunately for Cleveland, they didn't need much, and they still didn't pick it up. This is 3rd and inches again.
It's been a bad word today for Cleveland's offense. Inches. They haven't really been able to push it through.
Well, they've got to control the nose tackle. If you don't control the nose tackle, who's having an outstanding game, you know, the defense is going to get the upper hand here.
1 for 3 on third down conversions. Oh, he's going to throw.
He's all alone.
Pagel for Brennan. Incomplete.
Incredible.
Rod Woodson was trailing on the play, and Pagel has not been able to connect on the big ball.
Well, you got to take your hats off to the Cleveland Browns here. They go for the big play here, which they haven't been doing. 4th and short. Now, 2 things you can look at here. 1, does the quarterback overthrow this ball, or 2, is it just that the receiver isn't quick enough to get there?
Pagel letting it fly. Brennan was on the other end trying to race underneath it, but the ex-Boston College Eagle couldn't pull it down. 6-0 Steelers lead. Max Rudiger with the punt, angles it to the sideline. Rod Woodson, look at that. He turns nothing into about a 6-yard return. 45-yard punt by Rudiger. They'll give Woodson a 5-yard return. Bubby Brister back out onto the field. The Steelers lead over the Browns 6-0 here in Pittsburgh.
1st and 10, Pittsburgh ball. You can ride with the wind when you're one with the road. You can feel every move. You're in control. Just a touch of the wheel, and the power is yours. It's the look and the feel, the one that's for real. It's the new spirit. Gotta be the spirit of Dodge. It's the new spirit.
You'll find it at the heart of every car and truck we build. And you'll find it in yourself every time you take the wheel. It's the new spirit of performance. It's the new spirit of Dodge.
It's the new spirit. The new spirit of Dodge. The new spirit of Dodge.
As long as I've known Tom, I need help, he's there. Sure, I'm glad to see you. Stay with you? Figured you wouldn't mind.
And when the last tray's rounded up, you head for the mountains. Bush. And the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream.
Sure owe you one. How about this in here?
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
Today's game is brought to you by Dodge Cars and Trucks. On the street or off the road, it's the new spirit of Dodge. By Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive. And by United Airlines, airline of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team.
Welcome back to Three River Stadium, everybody. Jim Donovan and Reggie Rucker in this AFC Central Division battle between the Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers. 1st and 10 for the Steelers. After a Cleveland punt, Lewis Lips in motion. Ball out over the 25-yard line. Warren Williams sweeping, and Mike Johnson reading and dumping Williams back behind the line of scrimmage. Mike Johnson shot in from that inside linebacker spot, and he was right in the backfield with the rookie.
Mike Johnson, who played right inside linebacker last year, switched to left inside linebacker when the Browns put Mike Junking into the starting lineup. Leads the Browns in tackles and is an outstanding player against the run. As you saw just then, he had excellent penetration, and that's the way you stop the Steelers in their running attack.
2nd down and 12. Weegee Thompson and Lewis Lips, your wide receivers, as you looked over the shoulder of David Grayson. Brister, lots of time. The ball is picked off by Felix Wright, but he was out of bounds. Right over on the Pittsburgh bench as they were going for Weegee Thompson.
Both Thompson and Lips were open coming across the field. Bubby Brister allowed that pass to get away from him. It sailed on him just a little bit as you watch the ball wobbling here, and Felix Wright, number 22, is clearly out of bounds, but that pass got away from Bubby Brister. This should have been a completion.
Brister is now 1 for 7 for 12 yards. Pittsburgh is 1 for 4 on third down conversions, and right now staring at a 3rd and 12 from their own 24, leading 6-0. Rodney Carter was in motion. Sam Clancy and Clay Matthews sack Brister. Michael Dean Perry was in there too, but it was Clancy and Matthews that lowered the boom on Bubby Brister.
The Browns have the best of both worlds on here. They've got good coverage in the secondary, so Brister doesn't have anybody to get the ball to right away. He pumps fakes right there. By that time, it's too late as Clancy, number 91, and Clay Matthews, number 57, collaborate on the sack.
Clay Matthews.
Here's another look at it. Brister looking, can't find anybody to throw to. Number 73 is Craig Wolfley. He's beaten to the outside.
Harry Newsome standing right at his 1-yard line. Remember the last time Gerald McNeil fielded a Newsome punt? He almost broke it.
These are kicks that get you hurt there because they get to the return man too quickly.
Look at McNeil dance down the sidelines, and Cleveland will have their best field position starting a drive this afternoon. They are inside the Pittsburgh 35 at the 33 as Newsome hears a few boos over to the sideline, and Gerald McNeil is having his finest day of the season, hugged by Marty's brother, Kurt Schottenheimer, the special teams coach.
The one thing that Harry Newsome usually does is he gets the ball high. You have to kick the ball high because you want your coverage people to get down there and contain these fast return people. When you kick the ball line drive type or the ball gets to the return man quickly, then your coverage people are in tough shape.
From the 33-yard line of Pittsburgh, Mike Pagel trying to get the Browns offense on track. They trail 6-0. Manoa and Biner in the backfield. Kevin Mack still not back into the lineup. Biner ad-libbing now, nowhere to go. Cornell Gowdy made the play. He made the first play and then came back and made the tackle. He had the play all upset. 14-3 Bears lead over the Buffalo Bills. Philadelphia's on the board with a field goal. Still scoreless at Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough between the Colts and Patriots. And Seattle leading over the Falcons 7-3 as we check in on the scoreboard here on Sunday number 5 in the NFL, and Biner limps to the sideline. His Browns down 6-0.
Of course, these eyes will be on the scoreboard later on tonight when Cincinnati plays the LA Raiders in Los Angeles.
2nd down and 9. Pagel for Brennan. Good catch. And he brings the feet down inbounds. That's a 1st down for Cleveland at the Pittsburgh 21-yard line as Brennan leaped into the air and pulled it down from Dwayne Woodruff.
One thing you can say about Mike Pagel here, he earns his money. You wonder sometimes what happens to quarterbacks after the pass, but here you're going to see Brian Brennan getting up in the air, good concentration. That was a nice pattern. He came back to the football away from the defensive back. While he was doing that, though, Mike Pagel was taking a shot. He never saw the completion.
11 yards on the pass play. Herman Fontenot, number 28, goes out wide for the Browns. Slaughter is on the inside of Fontenot. They've got 4 wide receivers into the game, and actually Derek Tennell, a tight end, is split off the line of scrimmage with Manoa, the lone back in the backfield. This is for Fontenot. Did he hang on to the ball? Well, yes, he did. Inside the 15-yard line, he was battling Thomas Everett for the football, but it's Cleveland ball.
It's a simultaneous catch. Both players, defensive player and offensive player, have the ball here, but in the event that that happens, the offensive player gets the ball. It's a quick slant because the blitz is on, and you see both defender and receiver with the ball, and the offensive player is awarded the ball in that case.
2nd down and 2. The ball is on the Pittsburgh 13-yard line. Manoa and Fontenot in the backfield. Herman caught the pass on the last play. He runs the ball this time inside the 10-yard line, down near the 9. And that will be a Cleveland 1st down. The tackle made by David Little. Aaron Jones is over in that vicinity, too.
Herman Fontenot is one of those players that is very versatile. He catches the football. He can throw it. He can run it. He's an outstanding special teams player. He was a player that was recommended to the Cleveland Browns by Marty Schottenheimer's younger brother, Kurt Schottenheimer, when he was at Louisiana State University.
1st down and goal. From the Pittsburgh 8, the Browns trail 6-0. They have 4 wide receivers in. As Biner is back into the lineup, and he is out as a wide receiver. And he gets the ball and is immediately drilled by Dwayne Woodruff right at the point of the reception at the 6-yard line.
Superb coverage by Dwayne Woodruff, the veteran from Louisville. In his 9th year, Woodruff has been just beset with injuries all year long. He's getting his first start today at the left corner. This is a dangerous pass because if Woodruff gets there and a little bit earlier, he picks this thing off and runs about 95 yards. But good catch by Biner, but excellent coverage by Dwayne Woodruff.
You'll hear the Pittsburgh crowd as Mike Pagel brings the Browns up. Here they are now. They'll be right in his eardrums. 2nd and goal from the 6. They give it to Manoah. Diving for the end zone. He is just shy at about the 1-yard line. Thomas Everett again on the tackle. And David Little was trailing on the play. Good run by Manoah. Here it is.
Once the good blocking up front, the Browns offensive line really gets a good push off of the line of scrimmage. You can see Ozzie Newsome, number 82, making an excellent cutoff block on number 69, Ben Thomas, allowing the runner to get up toward the goal line.
Eligible player, number 77.
Browns adding beef up on the line. Ricky Bolden in. He's an eligible receiver on the play. They've got a couple of tight ends in there as Derek Tennell is in. 3rd down and goal from the 1. Trying to tie the game. Manoah pushes. Touchdown, Cleveland. Tim Manoah. Well, they had the push on that play, and Manoah provided a lot of it himself.
No question about who's getting this ball. Good block by number 28, Herman Fontenot. Biner, showing his versatility, leads the play by getting inside, creating just enough daylight for Tim Manoah from Penn State and a local boy.
Does well. Comes back to haunt the Steelers this afternoon, at least early. Matt Barr in to attempt the extra point.
Another Penn Stater. Of course, Matt Barr played for the Pittsburgh Steelers 1979 and 1980.
8:56 remaining in the first half. And on that point after, which is good by Matt Barr, the Cleveland Browns lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers 7-6 as you watch Tim Manoah bang in on 3rd and goal. He scores the Browns lead.
Century and more, business travelers have depended on United Airlines to get them to their most important meetings. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
On your path to success, reach for America's strongest financial helping hand, Citicorp and Citibank. More American families own their own homes and attend college with our help, and more get what they want with MasterCard and Visa cards from Citibank than from any other company. We also serve millions of customers in every major marketplace worldwide. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here.
The surprising Jets are soaring to new heights, but will they be grounded by Boomer Esiason and the undefeated Bengals?
Then John Elway tries to round the Broncos into championship form when they battle the San Francisco 49ers.
Before your team takes the field, catch NFL Live, only on NBC.
Don Strock on the sideline, brought in from Miami after he was actually released by the Dolphins to help out the Browns in their quarterback problems after all of those injuries. White Stone takes the kickoff back over the 25-yard line. Marlon Jones gets up off the pack, jawing with a couple of the Steelers. 18-yard return by Stone, but in continuing with the point about Strock, Danielson had gone down after he had played. Gary went down with a broken ankle. Kozar, of course, had gone down in the opener. Cleveland had Mike Pagel and nobody else, so they re-signed a rookie quarterback that they had cut in training camp, Steve Slayton, and then went and got Don Strock.
The man in the shades is Bernie Kosar.
1st and 10 Pittsburgh. They now trail for the first time today, 7-6. Brian Washington was blitzing from the outside, but the play goes to the other side, and Warren Williams makes the catch for the Steelers and goes out of bounds at the Pittsburgh 32-yard line.
The Steelers have to get Bubby Brister going here pretty soon. Brister is the second leading passer in the National Football League behind Boomer Esiason in yardage, so he's a man capable of putting a lot of offense on the board. He hasn't been able to do that so far because the Browns have had excellent coverage downfield.
8:42 left here in the first half. Cleveland leads 7-6, and Brister faces a 2nd down and 4. Ernest Jackson. Jackson to the 35-yard line. Tackle made by Mike Johnson. Bob Golick on the bottom of the pile.
I think Ernest Jackson, number 43, you see getting up here, who has fumbled 3 times, is more concerned about covering the football and protecting it than he is running.
Philadelphia has tightened up that game with the Oilers now, down by 6. New England's on the board, 7-0 over the Colts. We have an injured Brown down on the field. We'll check that out for you after we check the scores. Seattle over Atlanta now, 14-3. The Giants only lead by 1 now, and Green Bay still holding on to a field goal lead over Tampa Bay. And we are at 7-6, and I believe that's Bob Golick down. Now, Golick last year in the final regular season game right here at Three Rivers broke his arm and was out for the playoffs, so he had a bad memory his last time in here, and right now he's down injured. Right leg is being attended to.
You know, he looks forward to these matchups with the veteran center, Mike Webster. As a matter of fact, this week, in honor of their 7th anniversary of going one-on-one against each other, Golick sent Webster flowers.
A nice touch, Reggie.
Merlin Olsen delivered them.
Yes, and that completed the whole situation. Yeah. Well, let's hope that Bob is okay as they are out checking him over.
I spent some time this past Tuesday at the annual NFLPA golf tournament with Bob Golick.
All right, we're going to check in with New York NFL Live update, and here is Gail Sarans. Gail?
In Chicago, the Bears go up 14-3 over Buffalo. Jim McMahon splits the seam, hits number 84, Ron Moore, 63 yards for the touchdown. 14-3 Chicago, the Bears threatening again, now back to Pittsburgh and Jim and Reggie.
Well, that's a good sight. Bob Golick running off the field, appears to be okay. 7-6 Browns lead over the Steelers. Second quarter, and we have 8:24 remaining in the first half. And it will be 3rd down and 1. As Ernest Jackson did not pick up the first down, the Steelers are 1 for 5 on 3rd down conversions. Darrell Sims checks in at nose tackle for Bob Golick. Marty Schottenheimer, the last thing he needs now is another injury. The Browns have been banged up here early.
If we assess the significance of this game today, this is a must-win for the Cleveland Browns. They cannot afford to have 3 losses and trail Cincinnati by possibly 3 games. But for Pittsburgh, it's a must win, because if they have any hopes of being in the playoffs, they must win today.
3rd down and short, and the Steelers try and dive to get it. Bubby Brister, who has 4 rushing touchdowns on the season, so he can run, does a little power move here to try and sneak and get the first down, and we'll check and see if he got it. Browns say no, which would set up 4th down and a decision for Chuck Noll, but let's see if the Browns are a bit premature.
I think a play like that has to indicate that they have lost confidence in some of their running backs. They have had 13 fumbles this year, and many on plays such as that. And rather than give the football to one of those halfbacks or the fullback, the quarterback sneaks. That is just something that you don't expect to see at this level.
Place the 30-second count on 30. Thank you.
DeCantac straightening out the play clock, getting it down to 30. They did not get the first down. In fact, not even close enough for a measurement as Harry Newsome is ready to punt.
And Harry Newsome is standing at about 13 yards, and that's what caused the punt blocks last week. At least that's what Buffalo felt.
This is a much higher punt and a better punt, and we'll see what Gerald McNeil does with this one. He slips through again. Out to the 30-yard line, and another flag goes down in the vicinity of number 58, Clifford Charlton. As Mike Pagel waits to see it. Every time the Browns have had a return today, other than the one good one by McNeil, they have had a penalty called against them. A 50-yard punt right now for Newsom, and a 15-yard return by Gerald McNeil. And as we said, the Browns moving back, and so another flag on them. Dick Hantak.
Illegal block. Number 58 on the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, it was the Browns' #1 draft choice, the linebacker Clifford Charlton out of Florida. There he is. He gets nailed for the flag. Backing the Browns deep into their own territory. They'll start at their own 16, but they start with the lead.
You'll find it at the heart of every truck we build. It's on the street and off the road. It's the new spirit of performance.
The top new spirit of Dodge.
The power of untapped, untouched potential. At GTE, we'll put that power in your hands with a new generation of precision materials. It's the power to make your products faster, stronger, more efficient, and to bring breakthrough ideas to life. We're giving it to others. We can give it to you. The power of a new manufacturing edge. Because at GTE, the power is on.
This is not the time to learn that all antifreezes aren't the same. What's in your radiator?
Come on, answer.
Each year, 9 out of 10 Americans who have their cars insured with Liberty Mutual stay insured with Liberty Mutual.
America, ladies and liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Memories of an Olympics, Tuesday.
Jim Donovan and Reggie Rucker at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. A rather tame day so far. Cleveland leading Pittsburgh 7-6. Not a real loud, raucous crowd. A methodical game. Not a lot of big plays.
Well, it's a game in which I think each team is playing very conservatively and trying not to make errors. The errors have hurt both of these teams, particularly the Steelers.
The Browns backed up at their own 16-yard line as Reggie Langhorne goes in motion. Tim Manoa has the Cleveland touchdown and a nice running play on first down. Out over the 20 to the 22-yard line and close to a 6-yard gain. The Browns have been flagged 3 times today for 48 yards. Pittsburgh 1 for 5 yards. 2 of those Cleveland penalties have been on returns.
It's a very safe offense the Browns are running. They're running Manoa and they're running Biner, and when they have an opportunity, they're throwing the short possession pass. Now, they've tried a couple of deep throws. On 2 occasions, Browns receivers were running free for apparent touchdowns, and the ball was overthrown.
7:05 left here in the first half, and from their own 22-yard line, Cleveland up on 2nd and 4. Back to Manoa. Oh, and he splits through that left side of the Browns offensive line as they ran left and found a nice hole out near the 30-yard line, and a first down for Cleveland.
Tim Manoa spent his Art Modell and Browns brain trust, but Tim Manoa spent first years, of course, playing football in Hawaii. Moved here and went to school right here in Pittsburgh. Graduated from Penn State. The Browns selected him in the 3rd round 2 years ago, and they like the way he plays. He takes that football straight at the defense.
It's been Manoa and Biner, and it's Biner's turn. And again, they go left and get out near the 35-yard line. And Reggie, I'm checking on the left side of that line. They have inserted 77, Ricky Bolden, into the lineup.
They told us that they would do this because they are looking for a better run efficiency. Now, number 77, Ricky Bolden, is one of the top athletes on the offensive line. He never did lose his starting job. He just hasn't been able to play there long because he's always getting hurt. But there's something going on over on that left side right now because Bolden has entered the game, and they are really cashing some checks over there.
They're very big over there now with Bolden at 6'6", 280, and Larry Williams at 6'5" and 290. 6 yards on the Biner run. Brennan in motion, 2nd and 4. There's Biner again, out near the 40-yard line and near a Cleveland first down. Greg Carr is on the tackle. for the Steelers. Here's the scoreboard. The Bears now opening up on the Bills. A 14-point lead. Buffalo came into the game 4-0. New England over Indianapolis 7-0. Seattle adds to their lead over Atlanta. The Skins down by 1 at home to the Giants. And Tampa Bay with 10 points.
Number
Leads over Green Bay.
77 as reported as eligible.
Well, this is another third and less than a yard. You have to watch the play of Gerald Williams, number 98. If they can control him, they can pick it up.
They're going to go wide this time. Manoa tries to cut back, and the Steelers stop them on the play. Everybody was there, but namely Brian Hinkle and Tyrone Stowe, who came in as an extra linebacker.
That's true. There was great linebacker play, but watch the play right in the middle. The entire offensive line is pushed back. Manoa does slip a little bit, but I doubt if he would have gotten around the perimeter anyway, because the Steelers had outstanding defense, and that is the third time today the Browns have not picked up a first down with less than a yard.
Rudiger just gets the punt away. Here comes Woodson out near the 30-yard line. Boy, he just got it away from Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was right on the foot of Max Rudiger.
They like Rudiger because Rudiger is good at placing the ball where he needs to. If they ask him to put the ball on the sideline, he's able to. If they ask him to kick it high, he's able to do that. They're very fortunate to pick up a guy like Max Rudiger.
16 days ago, the Olympic flame was lit and soul, and the games of the 24th Olympiad began. Nearly 10,000 competitors from 160 nations participated, and tonight they leave as Olympians. They gather to celebrate these games and to witness the extinguishing of the Olympic flame, the closing ceremony of the games of the 24th Olympiad, only on NBC. First and 10, the ball is on the 30-yard line. Warren Williams to the outside and back to the inside in a very short gain. As Pittsburgh's crowd starting to get a little antsy in the seats now, they want some big plays. They are not seeing the running game open up at all.
Well, the running game isn't opening up because Brister isn't doing anything with the passing game. The Browns are able to cover the Steeler receivers one-on-one. Therefore, they had 7 and 8 men up around the line of scrimmage, and the Steelers can't block all those people. Brister is going to have to hit a big play in the passing game to get the Browns defenders back away from the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 10. No gain on that last play. Lips in motion on the snap. Brister's got a man wide open. It's Jackson out of the backfield, and Mike Junkin makes an immediate hit on him, and it's helped out by Mike Johnson as the two inside linebackers team up on Jackson. Jackson came out of the backfield and was wide open.
Once again, though, Brister was forced to go underneath. They want to get the ball to Louis Lips. You can bet. Lips is the man that's going to make the big plays, but so far the Browns have covered Lips well. But Brister got back to Ernest Jackson, and of course Jackson, not known as a good pass receiver, picked up about 8-9 yards.
Chuck Noll didn't look that happy over on the sideline talking with Jackson. Steelers only 1 for 6 on third down, and that's where they are now. Third down and 2 from their own 38. The Browns blitzing, and the ball is incomplete.
Great coverage by Minifield.
On Louis Lips. And the Browns were right on Bubby Brister, Clay Matthews, and Mark Harper, and Brister gets up hobbling a bit on that left leg.
You have to like Bubby Brister. He takes everything that the defense dishes out and then some. He did not back away from this throw whatsoever. Here it is again, Brister. This is what happens to quarterbacks once they release the football. Right in his face, goes down. And that's tough when you've got a man lying on you and falling on you. And Minifield, of course, the Browns are happy that he's back. He is just one of the pure pass defenders in all of professional football.
Barry Newsom bangs it away, and Gerald McNeil waits.
Big kick.
Boy, I'll say it hits at the 2 and then goes bounding into the end zone. That will be a touchback, and Cleveland will get it first and 10 at their own 20, leading by 1, 7-6 with 2:44 remaining here in the first half. Through the years now with the Browns and Steelers. Let's take a look.
And as we take a look at the series record, 45-31 in favor of the Browns, I was going to say earlier, this is not the oldest rivalry in pro football. Do you know who it is?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's Chicago, Green Bay. 121 times they've met.
Then you saw what they were with the Cleveland Rams, okay, which is not counted into the overall record. And the Steelers, there it is again. Now, the Cleveland Rams always won
This is going back too far for me.
1938. Look at that. And then the 14-14 tie in 39.
Were you around
That
then?
was a good game, Reg. From the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Mike Pagel and the Browns holding on to a 1-point lead. Manoa out of the backfield. The ball was delivered low, and it's incomplete. Last week in Cincinnati, Brian Brennan bringing in the next play from Marty Schottenheimer. Pagel had a lot of trouble throwing to Ernest Biner out of the backfield, so it appears as though he has trouble delivering that loop pass to the back coming out in the flat.
This game just shows you how extremely important a quarterback is to professional offense. Pagel hasn't really played in 2 years. Bubby Brister is a young player. You can see how they are struggling to gain continuity for whatever reason, but it's still at the quarterback position.
Slaughter and Brennan at the top of your screen. And Brennan in motion on 2nd down and 10 from the Cleveland 20. A quick feed to Ozzie Newsome, and he's down at the 24-yard line. That will put him past Fred Biletnikoff on the all-time reception list.
Ozzie's getting up very slowly. That was a very difficult pass to catch. Pagel had to get rid of that football.
Now, see, that's amazing, isn't it? As a tight end moving up the list like that.
When he joined the Cleveland Browns as a rookie, I thought, you know, here's a guy that was about 218 pounds, and I never thought that he would become the player that he is today, and the player that he will be in the future when I think he'll be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
3rd down and 6. Just before the 2-minute warning. They're going long for Slaughter. And again, it's delivered too long. Incomplete, and the Browns will punt. And we are underneath 2 minutes. 1:58 remaining in the first half. Pagel to the sidelines. The Browns will punt. They lead over the Steelers by 1.
Dodge salutes those who strive for victory with this edition of The Winners.
When the game is on the line, I just dearly just loved it. I just loved the big game.
Terry Bradshaw's romance with victory has been well documented. With 4 Super Bowl victories, Bradshaw created a reputation as the best quarterback in the biggest games. Perhaps the best athlete ever to play the position, Terry Bradshaw's talents and perseverance combined to make him a winner.
You can ride with the wind when you're one with the road. You can feel every move. You're in control. It's the new spirit. Gotta be the spirit of Dodge. It's the new spirit. The new spirit of Dodge. The new spirit of Dodge.
Don't win nothing for practice. Don't win nothing if you don't. All right, let's have it.
After a long day of hard knocks,
That's right.
head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Boy.
Here, this one don't box so hard.
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
It's the UFO mystery that defies explanation.
These are reliable witnesses, teachers, doctors.
You'll see the pictures, the proof on Unsolved Mysteries, premiering Wednesday.
There's Chuck Noll, who was hired off the Baltimore Colts staff in 1969. First player he ever drafted as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers was a fellow from North Texas State named Mean Joe Green. Won 4 Super Bowls in the 1970s.
And is now his defensive line coach. Max Roniger booms it away for the Browns. Rod Woodson hits inside the midfield stripe and into Cleveland territory. Stephen Braggs and Clifford Charlton on the tackle, and Eddie Johnson flew right at him too. And Pittsburgh has good field position with 1:48 left. Bubby Brister and the Steeler offense has been very quiet today, especially in the second quarter.
Both teams, Jim, are playing like they understand how important this game is to both clubs. They're just playing so tight. I think the first club that really starts to unwind and starts to play its game is going to be the club that's going to take control of this football game.
Not good numbers today. 26 yards in passing. Charles Lockett is in at a wide receiver spot. The Steelers have 3 in. Thompson in motion. It's a draw. Harold Hodge has it. Down to the Cleveland 40-yard line as they showed a passing formation. And Hodge is a receiving back, but on a delay, he draws right down to the 40-yard line.
Well, everybody's playing pass right now. Watch the linebackers. You see Will Hill, number 35, and all those people start back, and there's a clear path for the runner right up the middle.
Quickly up to the line of scrimmage, and it's Hodge again. He got 8 yards on that first down run, and he'll pick up a first down this time as he bangs inside the Cleveland 35, tackled by David Grayson. A minute 15 remaining here in the first half. The Steelers driving as they trail by 1.
A 40-second.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Yesterday, when George Tucker left the Allstate Claim Center across the street, he figured the only thing that'd bring him back was the pie he'd discovered. Unfortunately, the long, hot drive home exposed other minor damage that had gone undetected. Just the kind of thing Allstate Hidden Damage Protection insures him against. So today, Allstate gave George another check and a great new excuse for more pie. Allstate Hidden Damage Protection, another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Back in Pittsburgh, Browns leading by 1. Steelers deep in Browns territory, though, at the 33-yard line and have used 1 timeout. They have 2 remaining.
And the reason why the Steelers are running the draw plays is because the Browns had 6 defensive backs in there and not enough linebackers. Now you're seeing the Browns go back to their regular defense. They've got those linebackers in there because there's too much time to get the Steelers that kind of yardage inside.
First down and 10. Ouija Thompson in motion. And it goes back to Merrill Hodge. He's going to get to the sidelines, and Mike Johnson chases him out at the 31-yard line. Only a 2-yard gain, and we're down to a minute 9 remaining. He's a very versatile player, that Merrill Hodge. Good hands out of the backfield, out of Idaho State.
That's right. Merrill Hodge is one of those players who makes the football team because he can do a lot of things. Good on special teams. He's a good blocker, a good pass receiver out of the backfield. And the Browns know that this is the pass receiving backfield for the Steelers, and the Steelers are crossing them up by running the football, and they're having some success.
When they go to that pass receiving backfield, they go with Merrill Hodge and 24 Rodney Carter, and they're in there right now. That's Carter coming down to the line of scrimmage, and again a delayed draw inside the 30-yard line down to the 27. Sam Clancy, Carl Hairston on the tackle for Cleveland. Clock running down to 55 seconds remaining. The Steelers have 2 timeouts left.
This is the area of the field in which Bubby Brister is really dangerous, because what Brister will do, what he has done in past ball games, Jim, is he's gotten down here and he's scrambled, and now when he is in this part of the field, he'll try to run that football into the end zone. He has scored 4 touchdowns running the football.
Mike Junkin, the injured player for the Browns, his left leg. Bill Tessendorf, the Browns trainer, and Dr. John Bergfeld. They have been very busy men this year for the Cleveland Browns. Junkin wants to get up himself, but they're holding him down. 16 days ago, the Olympic flame was lit in Seoul, and the games of the 24th Olympiad began. Nearly 10,000 competitors from 160 nations participated. They came as athletes, and they leave as Olympians. Tonight they gather to celebrate these games and to witness the extinguishing of the Olympic flame, the closing ceremony of the games of the 24th Olympiad, only on NBC.
Junkin, the Browns' first-round draft choice last year, suffered an injury, missed most of that season, was converted from an outside linebacker to an inside linebacker, is just beginning to play well, and look what happens. This is a tough game. Mothers, don't let your kids grow up to be football players.
Eddie Johnson will check in. Johnson was beaten out by Junkin. Johnson was a longtime starter for the Browns. Now he's back in there with Mike Johnson. Eddie Johnson is number 51. It's 3rd down and 5 for Pittsburgh. 52 seconds left. Brister into the end zone for nobody. Incomplete.
Brister threw that football away in a wise decision. He did not want to get outside of Gary Anderson's field goal range. Right now, this is about a 48 or 49-yard field goal attempt at this point. So it was wise for him to get rid of that football. There was no one open.
The closest Steeler receiver to the football was Troy Johnson. The spot coming right at the 35-yard line. Make it a 45-yard field goal attempt. Newsome to hold. Anderson is 2 for 2 today, and the Browns called a timeout.
And Gary Anderson.
This is a 40-second timeout.
And Gary Anderson, you're looking at one of the league's top kickers. As a matter of fact, he is second all-time in field goal accuracy next to Morton Anderson, but he's had a slow start this year. Prior to this ball game, he'd only made 1 of 4 from 40 yards or more. He's already kicked a 49-yard field goal, and he's going for a 45-yarder here.
So Gary Anderson waits as the Browns use a 40-second timeout. Felix Wright over to the sideline talking with the Browns coaches. It's a 4th down and 5. That's Kurt Schottenheimer in the middle. He's the special teams coach, and he has been under a little bit of fire. The Browns special teams have left something to be desired, and today they have been nailed with a few penalties. Wright checked back in there. Seemed as though he was saying go right up the middle, or there's a hole in the middle to try and block this thing. This is for the lead with 48 seconds remaining here in the first half. Browns 7, Steelers 6. Anderson ready. And the kick is good. A 45-yard field goal for Gary Anderson. He's 3 for 3 in the first half, and he gives the Steelers back the lead with 43 seconds remaining in the half.
Confidence building rapidly for Gary Anderson. There is the gold medal of Susie McConnell.
She's from the Pittsburgh area. She went to Seton LaSalle High School here in Pittsburgh, then went on to Penn State, was an all-American basketball player there, and a gold medalist this afternoon.
I saw her play. She is a brilliant ball handler. She does the no-look pass, the behind the back, the through the legs. What a spark plug she was for the women's Olympic team.
Boy, they were untouchable over there in Seoul. So Susie McConnell being honored by the Steelers today here at Three Rivers Stadium.
She's 5'3".
Marty Schottenheimer is down by 2, 9-7. 3 field goals for the Steelers.
I don't care what the circumstances, what the records, or what's at stake. This has always been a very tough football game over here at Three Rivers Stadium for the Cleveland Browns. And coming in here, the Pittsburgh Steelers with that 1-3 record didn't deceive Marty Schottenheimer. He knew that this was a ball club capable of being 3-1.
Glenn Young waits for the Gary Anderson kickoff. And he'll have to wait in the end zone, put the knee down, and the Browns will take a touchback at the 20-yard line. Good kickoff by Anderson. 43 seconds left here in the first half. Cleveland has 1 timeout as Young heads to the field. Steel Heat, Latrobe, PA, the home of Arnie Palmer. Steelers by 2. They came into the game 1-3. They won their opener at home against Dallas and lost 3 in a row. And turnovers have been the big key in all 3 losses.
All right, there are 43 seconds left in the ball game. The Browns have 1 timeout remaining. Pagel is going to go to the shotgun. I think they'll try to put Matt Barr. They've got to put the ball down around about the 25, 26-yard line for Matt Barr.
1st and 10. This is going to Fontenot with Larry Williams and Dan Fike out in front of it, but Brian Hinkle chases him out of bounds, and a gain of about 1 yard, and that's it.
So there really isn't a player on the field for the Cleveland Browns that the Steelers are threatened by. They don't have a speed back, and there really isn't a home run threat on the outside. So the Steelers are going to just sit back and contain this offense. They're not going to take any chances. I doubt if you'll see the Browns getting into a position to do anything with the football.
Gain of 1, 2nd down and 9, and Reggie Langhorne is lined up way behind Mike Pagel. There you see him, so they're just going to let it run down. Pagel down to 1 knee. He'll let the half run out. A very conservative first half of football here at Three Rivers. Nothing fancy at all.
Matter of fact, it's somewhat strange. This has been a very unpredictable first half. I don't think any team did anything spectacular, and I think they were both jockeying for position, trying not to make mistakes, and sometimes that's what gets you beat.
Chuck Noll over to the Cleveland locker room. 3 field goals, and his team leads by 2. We'll be right back after these messages from the NFL. Sprinting back towards the goal line.
I think if I were Marty Schottenheimer and I was talking to my kick teams, I'd say, look, fellas, you've got to clean up your act. There are too many penalties. We're being set back by penalties, and let's get a good return and stay away from the penalties.
So the 1-3 Steelers kicking off to the 2-2 Browns. Big game for both teams in the AFC Central Division, and a heck of a kickoff by Gary Anderson. Directional kickoff into the corner of the end zone, not allowing Glenn Young to get any kind of run back. Out of the end zone it goes. 1st and 10 for Cleveland at their own 20.
The game just doesn't have a personality for the Browns. What you like to see happening in a game is the game develop in some way, whether it be in a running or passing. The Browns haven't had anything happen in their favor. On the other hand, the Pittsburgh Steelers, as I said before, have to be very happy with the way they are controlling the line of scrimmage defensively, and the coverage is occurring in the secondary.
Derek Tennell, 81, is in at tight end. That's Ernest Biner in a slot and now coming back into the backfield. 1st and 10, Cleveland. Trailing by 2, 9-7 as we start the second half. Reggie Langhorne in motion. And they give it to Tim Manoa. And again, nothing there. Tyrone Stowe and David Little on the tackle of Manoa. Manoa has the Cleveland touchdown. He's been in there since early in the first half when Kevin Mack went down with a knee injury.
I just don't think you can beat the Steelers with that style of attack. I think the linebackers are sitting in there. They're protected. The defensive line, particularly Gerald Williams, is getting good penetration. And these guys are meeting the ball carriers in the hole. There have been some successes for the Browns, but mostly the Steelers are controlling the run.
Browns put the tight end, Ozzie Newsome, off the line of scrimmage out with Brian Brennan. Right at the bottom of the screen, 2 wide receivers at the top. Oh, he throws the ball dangerously into coverage, trying to get it to Webster Slaughter, and it was almost picked off by David Little.
You see how the Steelers are just draped around everybody? That's because the Browns cannot stretch the defense. There's no threat out there of them being hit by the big touchdown play, and so the linebackers and the coverage people are gaining more confidence with each play.
Actually, the ball hit Slaughter high right up by the face mask. Tim Manoa checks out. Slaughter goes to the top of the screen. Biner is joined in the backfield now by Herman Fontenot. Fontenot moving up towards the line of scrimmage to help blocking for Pagel on a possible blitz. 3rd down and 9. Brian Brennan has it out by the Cleveland 35-yard line, and they'll mark him at the 37 on forward progress and a 1st down.
And they needed that desperately. The Browns have been so squeezed by the defense that they can't move the football. Now watch the throw. This is an outstanding catch by Brian Brennan. This ball is coming. Brennan stays with the ball, makes the great catch. Cornell Gowdy on the hit, number 29. Here's another look at it. Good pattern by number 86, Brian Brennan out of Boston College, who has such clutch hands in those 3rd down situations. Comes through for Cleveland right there.
16-yard pass play. There's Brennan checking out. He's part of the messenger service for the Browns, bringing in plays. That's how they get them into Pagel through the wide receivers. 1st and 10. Manoa off the right side, out short of the 40-yard line. Brian Hinkle and Keith Gary to shut the play down. And Gerald Williams, the nose tackle.
I think the Steelers would be content to have to play the Browns and the Browns not throw the ball as much as people have been throwing the ball on the Steelers. The Steelers have had very little pass rush. They only have 6 sacks, which is last in the league. They've got a number of hurting people in the secondary. They've shuffled their secondary around. So if the Browns want to run the ball, I think the Steelers feel, hey, we'll accept that.
2nd down and long now. 2nd and 8. At the Cleveland 39-yard line. Brian Brennan in motion. Pagel getting time. Going down for Slaughter over the middle. And again, it's overthrown as he had Webster there. Rod Woodson on the coverage for Pittsburgh.
That is absolutely incredible. I have never seen receivers with the opportunities, and it's no one's fault, I don't think. It's just that one guy is running well and the other guy just doesn't have the kind of timing with the receivers that you expect or that you need to have to be successful.
Slaughter running back into the Browns huddle. As again, he was open on a pattern going towards that end zone, but he could not hook up with Mike Pagel, and they have not been able to hook up on anything long. It's 3rd down and 8. Shotgun. Low snap. Big rush. Almost intercepted by Lee. Greg Lee had it in his hands at the Pittsburgh 40-yard line as Slaughter was the intended receiver.
Well, Slaughter is upset about something. I think Slaughter read one thing and Pagel did another. Slaughter was expecting Pagel to bring him inside with the football. Here it is right here. The ball is high, and that's not what Slaughter thought he would get. Slaughter thought he would get a ball coming over the middle that you've seen he and Kozar do so many times, but this is not Kozar.
Roniger boots it away. A high hanging punt. Rod Woodson. Gets one good block, two good blocks. Out over the 25-yard line to the 28, and that's where Pittsburgh takes over. A 44-yard punt by Max Rudiger. Van Waiters, a rookie linebacker, down on the coverage for Cleveland. He's out of Indiana as Bubby Brister heads out onto the field. We have a flag down on the play on that punt.
On the Pittsburgh 33-yard.
And it's against the Steelers.
Holding, number 28 on return, 10-yard penalty. It will be a first down.
Lupe Sanchez gets hit with the penalty.
All right, here's the holding call right here. That's number 36, Stephen Braggs, that's trying to get away from the coverage on the kick team. That's number 21, Greg Lee, and number 28, Lupe Sanchez, just dogging him right there.
12:15 to go, third quarter. Brister and the Steelers lead by 2 over the Browns.
Honda presents Definitions of the Game. Performance, the fulfillment of a claim, promise, or request. Performance, as defined by Joe Namath.
The shape is distinctively advanced. The cockpit designed for comfortable travel over time and distance. The Honda Prelude SI, a slightly ahead of its time machine.
If you think you can handle the big, bold taste of extra gold draft, hang on. This is the full tilt draft real beer drinkers have been thirsty for. And it looks like they aren't gonna let go. Grab hold of an extra...
Today's game is brought to you by Honda, who invites you to test drive the Accord LXI 4-door sedan at your local Honda dealership today. Buy extra gold in bottles and cans. It's new, it's draft. And by USF&G. USF&G covers the USA.
Sellout crowd at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers lead the Browns 9-7, third quarter. Ernest Jackson met immediately as he tried to go over the right side of the line. Bob Golick on the tackle for Cleveland, along with Mike Johnson. A change at linebacker for the Browns necessitated by an injury to Mike Junkin. He has a sprained knee. Eddie Johnson is in, and a very frustrated and dejected Webster Slaughter on the sideline. A little frustrated because he hasn't been able to hook up with Mike Pagel, who was talking with him there.
And as a receiver, there's nothing that makes you more frustrated than having beat a defender and you can't get the football for whatever reason, whether you don't have the timing or whether you're overthrown. It's just a very frustrating situation.
2 yards for Jackson, second down at 8. Warren Williams runs for short yardage as they're short of the 25-yard line. And can you hear the Steeler fans? They're a little upset with their play selection, too.
Steeler fans aren't exactly enamored with the way the Steelers are running the football either. They've run the football into the middle of the line so many times. And, of course, Bob Golick and Junkin when he was in there, and Mike Johnson has been doing a fine job all day long. And they put the Steelers in these third down passing situations. And as I said before, the Browns are one of the top teams in all of football in defending against third down conversions because of their receivers who play such tight coverage in the secondary.
Pittsburgh is 1 for 8 on third down today. Rodney Carter into the lineup with Merrill Hodge. Third down at 6. Good time for Brister. A deflected ball. Felix Wright picks it off at the 50-yard line, and a big turnover as the Browns defense comes up with that one. Ouija Thompson had it in his hands, and it deflected to Wright.
That's why they're a top defensive team, because on third downs, they do not allow first down conversions. The coverage is excellent. There's not much pressure here. Brister just throws the ball where he shouldn't. You can see Mark Harper, he's covered Thompson, and Felix Wright playing center field perfectly makes the low catch. Defensive backs not only have to be good defenders, but they must be able to catch that football when they can get their hands on it.
11 career interceptions, 4th this year. 4th NFL season, rather. for Felix Wright as he's over on the sideline. Remember, he had one earlier in the game, but he was out of bounds.
We talked about big plays turning a game around. That's a big play for the Cleveland defense.
So they work with half a field now, starting right at midfield from the 50. Manoa. And they'll come up second down from about the 52. Not much there as Cornell Gowdy is in on the tackle along with Keith Gary. Steelers turnover season. Now the turnover table. There you see it. Nothing against Dallas, and they won. They were 9 points ahead of Washington late. 1 turnover, and they lost. But then look at that. 11 in the last 2 weeks.
6 and 5. And when you have minus turnover ratios, you usually will lose a football game.
A gain of 1 for Manoa. He has 30 yards on 10 carries today as he's in there for Kevin Mack.
Oh,
a quick pass is picked off. That's Thomas Everett down the sideline. Again trying to go for Slaughter, and Thomas Everett read it perfectly. It's 1st and 10 Pittsburgh at the Cleveland 28.
And Thomas Everett is a man who made that catch. He had been wearing a cast over the last couple of weeks. You can see Pagel and Slaughter just aren't on the right page here. The defender reads this play beautifully. Thomas Everett makes this catch. Now it's Ernest Biner making the touchdown saving tackle, and it's going to be up to the Browns defense to stop the Steelers right here.
29-yard return after the interception. 9-7 Steelers, 10 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Bubby Brister and the Steelers back on the field offensively. Ernest Jackson. Ernest Jackson with a good run down to the 21 of Cleveland. Let's take a look at the Everett interception of Mike Pagel.
Now, Slaughter is expecting the ball a lot sooner than he got it there. And by the time Pagel threw the football, Thomas Everett had read the quarterback's eyes, stepped in front, and that's Ernest Biner making the tackle. And you just saw the 1st down play. That's the Ernest Jackson that the Steelers are looking for. 5'9", 225 pounds, just getting that body inside into the line of scrimmage and running over people.
Number 33, Merrill Hodge in the backfield. 2nd down and 4, 6-yard run by Jackson. Hodge fumbles the ball. It's a loose football. The Browns say they have it, and indeed they do. Eddie Johnson, who was beaten out of his starting position by Mike Junkin and sat on the bench. Actually, the Browns offered him to be traded to San Diego. He said, no, I'll stay in Cleveland, and he picks up the fumble recovery.
That is the bane of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense all year long, the fumble. They have been snake-bitten with that play. They can't get anybody to hold the football. They just squandered another glorious opportunity to take control of this football game.
Boy, in about 2 minutes of playing time, we've had 3 turnovers. Bang, bang, bang. 2 interceptions and a fumble as the Steelers shoot themselves in the foot. 19-yard line, Cleveland. 1st and 10. They're down by 2 at 9-7. Biner with the ball over the 20 to the 21-yard line. Cornell Gowdy is there. And the nose tackle, Gerald Williams.
And you know what happens when you have those kinds of turnovers? The offenses become much more conservative. They get even tighter. And pretty soon, you'll be just running a full house backfield.
Total fumbles, 14. They've lost 8. As Pittsburgh has fumbleitis here in the last 3 weeks.
I think both head coaches are looking around these offenses, and they're trying to find somebody that they can count on, somebody that can make a big play.
3 yards for Biner on 1st down. Pagel yelling over to the wide receivers on 2nd down and long. Manoa has a hole. Manoa in the open field. Down to the Pittsburgh 45-yard line, dragged down by Aaron Jones from behind.
We talked about Tim Manoa coming in for Kevin Mack in the 1st half. This is a straight-ahead runner. He makes a good move, though, when he gets into the line here. You may not see it here, but yeah, there it is. Watch the good cut. Right there, cuts back away from Greg Carr, number 91. Now he's in the secondary. He makes Thomas Everett miss, but he's run down from behind by number 97, Aaron Jones, the Steelers' 1st-round draft choice from Eastern Kentucky.
34-yard run by Manoa, as you saw. That's the longest run from scrimmage for the Browns this season. A fine block by 63 Cody Rison on that play, too. 1st and 10 Browns. Play action fake. They go back to Manoa. Manoah crunches inside the 35-yard line where he's hit by Brian Hinkle.
What you saw with Manoah on that run is usually what happens when you have 7 and 8 and sometimes 9 defenders committed to the line of scrimmage trying to stop the run. There's a play action fake once again, and they go right back to Manoah. The Browns are beginning to rely on the sturdy shoulders of the third-year player from Penn State, Tim Manoah. He is literally carrying this offense right now.
Boy, he almost didn't carry that football. Did you see that thing slide on his hip? Second down and 1, 9 yards on the pass play. Brian Brennan in motion. And that's Biner. Biner off the left side, again into the arms of Gerald Williams and Keith Gary. And Cleveland gets a first down as Biner gets a couple of yards inside the 35 down to the 32-yard line. Again, we'll watch the catch by Tim Manoah. There you see Manoah, 42. He's been busy here in the second half. Pagel dumping it off to Manoah.
What makes this a good play is that Manoah, after faking the run, slips out into the flat area and takes just an easy pass. It's a simple pass to throw, but it's a big confidence builder for Pagel and Manoah.
From the Pittsburgh 32, Biner to the outside with some running room. He's to the 20, 15, out near the 10-yard line. They'll put him out at the 11-yard line and a first down for Cleveland. Dwayne Woodruff chased him out of bounds as Biner found daylight to the outside. Good for 21 yards.
Watch this run now on the right side. It's a counter move. Biner starts left, comes back right. Good blocking, number 70, Larry Williams. Number 74, Paul Farron, pulling from the offside. And Biner is chased down by Dwayne Woodruff. But the Browns now have the football at the 11-yard line, trailing in this game 9-7.
Ernest Biner, 21-yard run, as he finally found some running room today. The Browns have stepped up their running game on this drive. And Biner gets it back. Shoots through a hole down inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. Thomas Everett and David Little on the tackle.
Ferocious hitting inside as Biner came and met number 50, David Little, right in the hole. Biner and Little both stopped each other.
Biner has 10 rushes, 51 yards on the day. 5:45 remaining third quarter from Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers lead 9-7 over the Browns.
The Steelers historically are known for coming with the blitz and just pressuring you when they get inside the 10-yard line, trying to make something happen defensively.
2nd and 5. Biner stopped.
There it is.
At the 5-yard line. Ben Thomas was there getting the start today, and he's getting up a little slowly too. He gets the start today at left defensive end.
Very impressed with nose tackle Gerald Williams, number 98. He has been almost uncontrollable at the line of scrimmage. Ben Thomas, number 69, is down now. The Steelers, they really can't afford any more injuries to that defensive unit.
He got the start today when linebacker Hardy Nickerson went down with an injury. And then they had to move Aaron Jones to a linebacker spot. And Thomas went down. We'll be back to Pittsburgh. It's the Steelers. 22-yard field goal attempt. Trying to give Cleveland a 1-point lead. And it's good. Matt Barr has hit 8 in a row on the season. He's 8 for 9, and Cleveland leads over Pittsburgh 10-9. Back and forth they go. Stadium with the Browns on top, 10-9, and Dwight Stone takes the kickoff and gets submarined by Herman Fontenot. So Stone was on his way. The middle was wide open, but Fontenot got in there and he sent Stone a-flying, didn't he?
Yes, and Stone is going to go back into the ball game. I think the Steelers feel that they need to have more explosion, more speed out of the backfield, and they're getting Dwight Stone into the backfield for the first time today. He is very explosive, but he's also been fumble prone.
He's in the backfield with Merrill Hodge, 33. Now Hodge fumbled on that last Steeler possession. Here's your quarterback comparison. Both having a lackluster day throwing the football. First down. Clay Matthews chasing Brister, and Eddie Johnson will take his fumble recovery and add an interception to it. They threw for the tight end for the first time today, Preston Gothard, and Eddie Johnson stepped in front and intercepted, and here it is.
This isn't a good decision by Bubby Brister. Watch this now. He has Lewis Lips wide open on the sideline, and he tries to get the ball to Preston Gothard, but Eddie Johnson is right in front with outstanding coverage, mirroring the quarterback as he should do when a quarterback rolls out, and that's just good coverage. And one thing that they wanted from Eddie Johnson from all the years that he played that position was they wanted more interceptions, and they said he couldn't cover, but he covered pretty good just then.
He certainly did. The ball is at the Pittsburgh 38-yard line. 1st and 10, the Browns offense back out on the field after a Pittsburgh turnover. 3:58 left, third quarter. Pagel firing. Reggie Langhorne's there and sheds the tackle of Woodruff and spins down to the 25-yard line, where he's brought down by a linebacker, David Little, 12 yards and a first down for Cleveland.
Here's Pagel again coming across the middle will be Reggie Langhorne. It's another one of those safe passes. He makes the catch. Now he breaks the tackle by Dwayne Woodruff right there. Langhorne is 6'2", 200 pounds, very strong wide receiver. And the Steelers gang up on him. But it just shows you once again the self-destructive nature of fumbles and interceptions. And the Steelers are continuing to be plagued by these turnovers.
1st and 10 from the 25. A little misdirection, and Biner still running right behind Paul Farron. And he's down inside the 25-yard line. A late flag goes down. And I'll update you now on the scoreboard. Chicago blowing out Buffalo 24-3. Philadelphia going in front of Houston, which has a lot of bearing on the Steelers and Browns. The Oilers in the AFC Central Division, 3-1. Seattle over Atlanta. The Giants extending their lead over Washington to 8. And Green Bay and Tampa Bay, the Bays are tied up. Penalty situation now. Let's check that out.
Personal foul. Defense, number 97. Penalized half the distance. First down.
Aaron Jones, helmet off, going over to the sidelines.
Chuck Noll is going to give Jones a rest, and I'll tell you what, I think the Steelers may be thinking about making a quarterback change. At least right now, they've got Steve Bono and Todd Blackledge warming up.
Bono would appear to be the guy that would come in if they lifted Brister. But Cleveland's thinking touchdown right now as they are at the 11-yard line. 1st and 10. Brennan is set in motion. And Manoa gets the ball. Down to the 10. Stays on his feet. Down to the 7-yard line. And Rod Woodson makes the tackle. Bubby Brister from the Pittsburgh sidelines has a dislocated finger on his throwing hand. So he is out of the game now. And so Steve Bono, there he is. He will become the man in the lineup running the Pittsburgh offense. Boy, you have to wonder when that happened to Brister. And if that was the reason for the bad pass. Trying to slip it in there to Gothard. 2nd down and 6. The ball is at the Pittsburgh 7. Cleveland leads 10-9. We're down to 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Back they go to Manoa. And he is grabbed from behind by Lorenzo Freeman as he goes down inside the 5-yard line. So Cleveland continues to punch away, and it's down inside the 5 at the 4-yard line with 1:40 remaining in the third quarter here in Pittsburgh. 10-9 Browns.
In a similar position last series, the Browns, in an obvious passing situation down here, used the draw play. I would think that they would throw this football into the end zone. This is an opportunity for the Cleveland Browns to gain control of the football game, and they need a touchdown, not 3 points.
Slaughter. Biner is a wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. Up at the top, that's Derek Tennell on the inside and Brian Brennan on the outside. They're throwing for Biner at the goal line. Tipped in the air, incomplete. On the coverage was Thomas Everett.
Strong coverage by number 27, Thomas Everett. He would not allow Biner to get inside. Biner wanted to get inside because Ernest knew that there was no help inside for Thomas Everett, and Everett played the technique perfectly.
So Matt Barr comes back out onto the field. Thomas Everett with a fine play. Through all of that traffic, there's Barr. He's hit 8 in a row. His first field goal of the season in Kansas City was blocked, and he's been perfect ever since. A 21-yard attempt right now. He just had a 22-yarder prior to this possession by the Browns to extend the lead, and Barr is good again. Matt Barr nails a 21-yard field goal, and with 1:06 remaining in the third quarter, the Browns lead 13-9.
Pittsburgh 9.
There's a difference when you
Talk it over with the Steeler defense. They've allowed more points than any team in the NFL, but I'll tell you, I think they've done a good job here after 2 turnovers by the Pittsburgh offense. The defense has only given up 2 field goals.
Make no mistake about it, they're very happy with what they did defensively down at the other end. They kept the Browns to a field goal, and they're still in the ball game, even though they have played very poorly on offense.
You watch Dwight Stone and Rod Woodson change positions on the kickoff return, and indeed it's Stone. Still running. Out over the 25-yard line, up near the 30. Dwight Stone, a good run back. And here comes Steve Bono in for the injured Bubby Brister. Dislocated finger on his throwing hand. Bono is in his first appearance this year and his first appearance since last year during the strike.
Now, Bono is not as mobile as Bubby Brister, but he does have an outstanding throwing arm from UCLA. I think the Browns will probably try to put more pressure on him. They'll see, first of all, what Bono can do, and then they'll start mixing in the blitzes and the coverages on him.
White Stone and Merrill Hodge in the backfield on 1st and 10. And Lewis Lips in motion. Stone over the 30, out to the 32-yard line. Clay Matthews on the top of him, and Darrell Sims.
Well, you talk about being in a tough position. You watch Bubby Brister, the dislocated finger, probably on his throwing hand. Talk about being in a tough position. How about Steve Bono? He hasn't played. The Browns were tough enough on Brister as it is. This is one of the top pass defenses in the National Football League. He isn't getting a running game. It's going to fall squarely on his shoulders to move this team through the air.
Second down at 7. 22 seconds remaining, third quarter. Steelers trail by 4. And Bono's first pass of the day. A little screen set up, and Stone's got some running room, too, and a first down.
That was a touchdown-saving tackle by Brian Washington right there.
45-yard line and a first down for Pittsburgh, and that will be it here in the third quarter as time runs down as you watch the little dump-off by Bono.
Good fake by Bono. Now he gets the ball out there to Stone. Now, if they don't make this tackle with Stone's speed, this would be a touchdown for Pittsburgh.
We move to the fourth quarter. Jim Donovan and Reggie Rucker. It's sold out Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. Clash number 1 of the season between the Steelers and Browns, both needing this game very badly to climb back into the AFC Central Division race. And the Browns leading through 3, 13-9. Steve Bono in at quarterback. A lot of time. Throws over the head of Preston Gothard down inside the 40-yard line.
Steve Bono was pretty poised that time. He wanted to throw out to the right side, but the Browns had double coverage on the receiver outside. He came back inside, but he just threw that ball high, and that's a problem there.
The numbers through 3 quarters.
Well, total yards, you can see just clear domination by the Cleveland Browns in terms of yards, and they've had the ball more, too. Steelers are just not threatening the Browns because they aren't getting the ball downfield. I don't think Lewis Lips has caught a pass.
Second down and 10 from the 45. Back split. Steve Bono in there for the injured Bubby Brister. Throwing for Stone. Right over the head of Washington, and he makes the catch. And a Pittsburgh first down in Cleveland territory at the 42.
That ought to get Steve Bono into the ball game. This is a really nice pass. He shows wonderful touch here. Watch him drop this football right over the defender, and Stone makes a fine turnaround catch right there. Steve Bono needed that to get into this ball game and build up his confidence a little.
14:20 remaining, regulation time. Cleveland 13, Pittsburgh 9. Steelers on the march and ignited by that man, Steve Bono, as he has thrown twice to Dwight Stone. Washington for the Browns hopping up on the line of scrimmage. Again, a lot of time. A screen is set up, and Merrill Hodge had to reach up and try and knock it down to make the catch. They had a wall of blockers out in front of that thing, too.
What a nice play developing. Steve Bono, 6'4", 215 pounds. Played cat and mouse just right, then dumped that ball, but Hodge couldn't catch it.
All right, Philadelphia leads over Houston 27-16. It looks like the Bills are going down to their first loss, Reggie. Seattle well ahead of Atlanta. Giants going for a sweep this year over Washington.
Washington's going to be in trouble, of course, without Doug Williams.
And Green Bay and Lindy Infante still trying to get that first win and up by 7. Steve Bono looking at 2nd and 10 from the Cleveland 42-yard line. The fake to Stone. Going long down the sideline, and Ouija Thompson could not pull it down at the 2 of Cleveland.
I'll tell you what, this guy can throw the football. He can throw the football. Steelers are giving Bono good protection. Bono is calmly looking over his receivers. Great coverage by number 29, the All-Pro Hanford Dixon. Even the 7 inches that Ouija Thompson has on Dixon don't matter here, as Dixon is running stride for stride. Just covers the way you draw it up. But Bono looks good, steps up strong in the pocket. He's tall. He delivers the ball well. Very impressed so far. It's not easy to come off that bench and play in a game like this.
Rodney Carter, Merrill Hodge in the backfield. Carter heads off now, down off to the left, down on the line of scrimmage on 3rd down and 10 from the 42.
There's Lips.
Here comes Lips right now. Incomplete. Crowd is going to want a flag. They don't get one. On the coverage was Frank Minifield.
Just an outstanding pass by Steve Bono. He isn't doing much wrong here. Lips has Minifield beaten right here. Watch the ball. The ball is right there. I can't see from this angle whether Minifield made contact, but if in fact he did, it should have been pass interference. But we all know this year the officials are letting them play in the secondary.
Harry Newsom into punt. I'll tell you, that was about the most exciting series of the game.
This guy's
and it leads
putting
to
it
a
up.
punt.
He's putting it up, and he can throw.
13:51 left in the ball game. 13-9, Cleveland by 4. Newsom looking for the sideline or to hang it up there. McNeil a fair catch, and he'll take it at the 15-yard line and a run right over to the sidelines. The Browns lead 13-9, and we'll be back to Pittsburgh in a moment.
Why don't you join Mazda's Frequent Flyer Club and fly away in a Mazda RX-7 convertible?
Mobile communication is the power to hold your world together. At GTE, we can put that power at hand to take with you where it has never gone before. Into the skies, down endless highways, beyond all past limitations. At GTE, we give you the freedom of personal communication and the power of new opportunities. Because at GTE, the power is on.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Compassion. You can't teach it or place too great a value on it. But you could measure it down this very road on the morning of June 23rd. In the actions of Allstate Claims Adjuster Don Mulder, who at 5 a.m. drove 60 miles to a fire site, all just to shorten the distance between a man's loss and a man's recovery. People like Don Mulder. Another reason.
Today's game is brought to you by Mazda and the exciting new Mazda cars and trucks for 1989. By Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive. And by Budweiser, proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. This Bud's for you.
Sellout crowd waiting to see if this game does have a big play in it. It's 13-9 right now. 5 field goals in the game. Browns lead by 4 and have the ball.
Big defensive series for Pittsburgh's defense, because if they can force the Browns to punt, Bono will have excellent field position when he gets the ball.
At their own 15-yard line, Reggie Langhorne in motion. Ernest Spiner on the run. Over the 15, maybe to the 19-yard line. Dwayne Woodruff and Greg Carr on the tackle for the Steelers.
The Browns have run the ball quite effectively when Ricky Bolden entered the ball game. Remember that? He came into the ball game at left tackle, replacing Paul Farron. They started running behind him. They had success. Bolden has been in the ball game ever since.
There he is, 77. That makes them so big on that left side with Larry Williams.
Well, they can also do more things. Bolden can run. He can lead a sweep. He can pull from the opposite side.
4 yards for Biner on first down. Brian Brennan in motion. 2nd and 6. Biner juggles the ball after he got the handoff, but he hangs on over the 20-yard line, and they continue to bang away. Tackle made by Anthony Henton.
Here's Bubby Brister. I would assume he has an ice pack on that right hand.
2 yards, 3rd down, 4.
Probably explaining what happened to someone.
12 and a half remaining. Bubby's Bombers, not today. And Mike Pagel on 3rd down and 4. As the crowd rises for this big play from the Cleveland 21-yard line. From the shotgun with a big rush, and David Little knocked the pass down. It's 4th down.
Just an excellent defensive series by the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a young defense with a lot of character. Watch it here. Number 50, right side of your screen, gets up, knocks the ball down by Pagel. The Steelers are going to get the ball in good field position. And they got a very dangerous man back there waiting as you take another look at the play by David Little. Rod Woodson on the return.
Max Roniger on the punt. Oh, a big Pittsburgh bounce. Well, not that big. It went out of bounds, actually, but they'll have good field position out at their own 48-yard line. Bono will try and give them the lead, looking for Pittsburgh's first touchdown. With 12:06 to go, they trail by 4. And you can see why, the way they have played today. The Browns' defense against the pass has been stingy. Steve Bono will try and crack that and end that streak with 12 minutes to go. His team down by 4. He's got a lot of time. He's going for Dwight Stone, and Brian Washington got his right hand up. The rookie, the 10th round draft choice out of Nebraska, makes a big play.
And Bono just threw the ball where he shouldn't have thrown it. There were 6 Cleveland Browns defenders there and 1 Pittsburgh Steelers. Watch it here. You'll see all the white shirts. There's no way you're going to get the football in there.
He's like an uninvited guest.
Yeah, all dressed up with no place to go.
That's right. It is 2nd down and 10 at the 48-yard line. Now trying to make that good field position work for them. Bono is 2 for 7 since coming into the game. Stone this time to run, and Eddie Johnson on the tackle for Cleveland. And Carl Hairston tripped him up before that. Bob Golick getting up a little bit slowly again.
But Bono has come into the game with that nothing-to-lose mentality. He doesn't appear as tight as the other players who've been in this ball game. There's Art Modell on the right, Jim Bailey on the left.
Riding out another white knuckler here in Pittsburgh. Jim Bailey looked like he was saying a little prayer upstairs for this one. All right, here's Bono on 3rd down and 8. Ball is at midfield. 1 for 8 on 3rd down conversions. 1 for 10 on 3rd down conversions. Rodney Carter in motion. A lot of time. And it is caught. Lockett makes the catch at the Cleveland 35 again, in a lot of traffic, but Bono threaded the needle.
And this offensive line is really doing a good job for Pittsburgh. They have rallied around this 4th-year quarterback, Steve Bono, and they have given him the time. Look at these people pass protect. Bono has a lot of time. Lockett makes an adjustment downfield, gets away from Harper, makes a tough catch inside. That's a big first down for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Harper and Lockett were side by side. It looked like Harper had a chance to intercept. 1st and 10 Pittsburgh, 10:39 left. 13-9 Cleveland.
We've got one-on-one.
Incomplete to Dwight Stone. Again, he had 2 blockers out in front. Ilkin and Long were outside waiting to lead the caravan for Dwight Stone.
If you're wondering why they're trying to get the ball to Stone so much, it's because the Steelers are looking for that big play. And Dwight Stone is a man that can provide it for them. They have not been able to get the ball to Lewis Lips. He's been working against Frank Minifield most of the day, and Minifield can shut down anybody. So they're looking for someone out of the backfield who might be able to hit a home run, and that player would be Dwight Stone with the great speed.
So now they come up 2nd down and 10. 2 wide receivers, top of the screen. And again, Bono back. For the tight end, Gothard, it's picked off by Brian Washington. And he gets a great block from Mike Johnson. 30, cut back, 20. He's got a lot of field, and a touchdown, Cleveland.
And there are no flags.
75-yard interception return for Brian Washington. And that's the big play in the ball game.
That's the play that you look for. That's the, here it is again, going out to the outside. Outstanding coverage by Brian Washington, the rookie from Nebraska. And right here, there's one man left, and that's Bono. He makes a good cut right here, back across the grain. Now there isn't anybody. 75 yards, touchdown, Brian Washington, the rookie.
celebration on the sideline for the Browns defense. They said as a unit, not only is the offense struggling, but we've got to make some plays too to help out, and they just did and have here in the second half. Big play. Brian Washington picks off Bono, and it's 20-9. The Browns have some breathing room thanks to an interception by Brian Washington, their rookie safety, and a 75-yard run for a touchdown. 20-9 Cleveland. Rod Woodson takes it at his own 2. Goes out over the 15-yard line, out near the 18. Van Waiters on the tackle for Cleveland. Let's check in on the scoreboard now. The Bears in control of the Bills. Buffalo looks like they're on their way to their first loss. Philadelphia, after falling behind, wasn't that 16-0 at one point? Now they lead. The Redskins back in it, down by 1. And
Battle of the Bays.
Yeah,
Who
tied
cares?
up. Tied at 17. And Steve Bono, see if he's a little shook up after throwing that interception. They went all the way for a touchdown with 10:08 left in the game. Gothard is wide open, and Hanford Dixon, I believe, got in there and knocked it away. And Dixon might have pulled a hamstring as he's down on the field, getting up a little slowly.
The Steelers are looking for all of the wrong people. I cannot imagine a Pittsburgh team with Lewis Lips on the field and they are not throwing the football to Lips. Clay Matthews, Dex Bono right there. Hanford Dixon, who's had some problems with a sprained ankle over the last couple of weeks, limping just there. But you've got to get the ball to Lewis Lips. You've got to make him a part of this comeback.
2nd down and 10 from the 18. They really have to put it up now, and they did go for Lips that time, but it's incomplete. And with every incompletion, the sellout crowd is getting a little bit more frustrated. As are the Steelers.
Well, the Browns have a lead now of 11 points, and they can afford to play some defenses now that give them the advantage in this ball game. They don't have to put themselves in a risk situation in which they can give up a quick touchdown.
Hanford Dixon on the sideline. Up and walking around a little bit better now. 1 for 10 on 3rd down conversions.
This is what the Browns want to do. This is why they're year in and year out one of the top defenses. They play 3rd down as well as anybody in football.
Rodney Carter moving in motion. Hairston chasing Bono, and he's got him back at the 10. Big Daddy Carl Hairston with the sack. And off the field he goes.
Well, it's all beginning to fall in place for Cleveland now. They've been getting outstanding coverage all year from their secondary. This is what we call a coverage sack. Bono can't find anybody to throw to. You can see him moving around and moving his head. There's nobody to throw to. Everyone is covered. Therefore, Carl Hairston has enough time to get to Bono.
Harry Newsome inside his own end zone, about 3 yards deep, and Gerald McNeil right at midfield waiting for this punt. Cleveland leading by 11 and looking at pretty good field position here.
I would think the Browns have a return on here. They do.
Newsome, and on the bounce, McNeil got away from Stone and then goes out of bounds over the 45 out to the 47-yard line. 49-yard punt by Newsome as Schottenheimer and Pagel converse over on the Cleveland sideline with an 11-point lead.
Marty's probably telling him, look, it's going to take 2 touchdowns to beat you. Our only opponent at this point in the game is the clock. We're not playing the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. We're playing 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's run the football, tell the running backs to take care of the football, and do not turn it over. Meanwhile, you're going to find the Pittsburgh Steelers linebackers. The first person that hits a Browns running back will stop him. The second person will try to strip the ball away from the Browns.
So let's see if they go to Tim Manoa. If they use that philosophy, and yes, they do. Manoa into the arms of Greg Carl. Keith Gary shot in and made the first hit on Manoa, and then as Reggie said, Carr then did go for the football.
Well, what Marty would also tell Mike Pagel is that, we have 9 minutes left in the ball game. When we give it back, I want to see 6 minutes on the clock. So this is just a time-consuming strategy by the Browns. They aren't trying to do anything offensively.
It's Manoa and Biner in the backfield as Pagel brings the Browns up to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 9. 8:50 left in the game. He's going to throw to Manoah, who juggles and hangs on into Pittsburgh territory down to the 46-yard line.
That's a very safe pass. It's a possession play. I'm surprised that Manoah went out of bounds. I think you want to stay in bounds. I think if Byner said anything to him right then, he might have said, nice going, try to stay in bounds.
Clock does stop, down to 8:43 remaining. Browns trailed by 2 at halftime, 9-7. And then the turnover started for Pittsburgh. Here in the second half, yeah, they have 4, and it totals out this way: 1 fumble and 3 interceptions.
It's a trend that obviously it's plaguing the Pittsburgh Steelers. They can't do anything about it. And as I said earlier, when you are minus in the turnover category, you usually lose football games in this league.
3rd down and 2. Derek Tennell, the tight end, makes the catch for Cleveland, his first of the afternoon, and with it, a Browns first down to the Pittsburgh 42-yard line. So that will keep the clock moving, and a first down, and keep the Browns offense on the field, too. As we show 8:25 remaining in the game. Mike Pagel clapping to the Browns offense. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Cleveland Browns, all rights reserved. A big hole inside the 35-yard line, and Tim Manoah getting up close to a 100-yard rushing day. He was at 74, I believe, before that run.
Well, there isn't any question in my mind if the Browns should go on to win this football game, even if they shouldn't. Tim Manoah has been the most valuable player for the Cleveland Browns. We saw Manoah do this earlier for the Cleveland Browns in the very first game of the season when there were injuries to Kozar and Mack. Manoah came in and did the same thing that he's doing today. He is a quality performer.
It's kind of like a possession runner, isn't it? He really can work the clock down. 7:20 now remaining in the game. Browns lead 20-9. Mike Pagel working the clock. 35-yard line. Back it goes to Manoah. There's the loose football. And there's Ernest Byner, Johnny on the spot. Well, just like I said, he's a possession runner, but you have to hold on to the football, and the Browns are lucky to get it back. Ernest Byner recovers. Here's Manoah heading to the stack.
This thing is so dangerous here as Manoah is carrying the ball in that left hand. That's usually the ball carrier's weakest arm. He's not down, and that ball is alive. And they scramble for this thing, and look at the white shirts go for the ball. There's a fumble recovery drill that pro football teams practice every week.
Cornell Gowdy was the man that got his helmet on the ball and knocked it loose. Manoah to the sideline. Herman Fontenot checks in. It's 3rd down and 8 for Cleveland. The ball is at the Pittsburgh 39-yard line with 6:25 to go in the game. Brian Brennan makes the catch, dives forward, and is close to a first down.
And he did that with second effort. He was maybe 2-3 yards away from picking up the first down on the first hit, spun out of the tackle and made it very close. And as I watched that reception by Brennan, I'm reminded that Webster Slaughter, for the first time in his career, has not caught a pass in a ball game.
Brennan has 3 today and looked to be holding his back area where he got hit after making that catch. It is 4th down for Cleveland, less than 1, and they'll go for it. And again, that lineup that they use, bringing Ricky Bolden in on the line, making him eligible as a receiver, and the Browns now must use a timeout. With 5:39 remaining in the game, Cleveland, when they need big plays now and make it plural as they are down by 11.
Well, Marty got what he wanted. He turned the ball back to the Steelers, and there are 5 minutes and a half in this ball game. I think he feels with the kind of defense he has that he can stop the Steelers if he has to. He's not happy with that, and I don't think he's going to be happy when he watches the films of the play of his offensive line, particularly in those 3rd and short situations and the 2 4th down situations that they missed.
Steve Bono, 1st and 10, 5:32 remaining, 20-9 Cleveland. Darrell Hodge on the run. Drilled at the 35-yard line. Eddie Johnson says that it's a loose ball and Cleveland has it.
Well, no, Hodge did fumble the ball, but it bounced right back to him.
Mike Johnson was the man that made the hit on him. Johnson's been a big hitter all day for the Browns.
Big game for Eddie Johnson coming in and playing the way he's played today.
Bono back to pass again, throws, and Lewis Lips makes the catch, his first of the day, and is immediately knocked out of bounds by Frank Minifield.
See, you allow a guy like Lewis Lips to sit out all day in a ball game like this when he could be the difference for you, and then you go to him when you want him to do miraculous things with little time remaining. I just don't understand why they didn't involve him in the offensive plan more. It's a great player, number 83.
13-yard pass play and a first down. Pittsburgh with the ball at their own 48-yard line. And the clock showing 5:02 remaining in the fourth quarter. Lockett in motion. Marlon Jones coming from the outside, but they get it off, and Hodge makes the catch, and he goes out of bounds, stopping the clock inside the 45-yard line, and a flag goes down where he was driven out of bounds. Flag down also in the backfield. I believe they hit on quarterback Steve Bono late. Marlon Jones was blowing in there, and we'll pick up the calls of contact.
Personal foul, defense, number 95, shoving the passer, first down.
Here's Bono now. You're going to see number 95, Marlon Jones, on the left of your screen. Bono releases the football. You cannot take more than one step after a quarterback has released the ball and hit him. That time, the ball was released. Jones appeared to take 2.5 steps and hit the quarterback. They won't allow that.
I think he's still stepping. He really went after Steve Bono. 4:55 left. And a first down after the catch and run by Hodge and the penalty mark-off. Bono juggles the snap. He's in trouble and has to throw it away. As once again, Jones was in there along with Carl Hairston. But the play started in trouble when Bono juggled the snap, pulling away.
This is a defensive lineman's dream. You're behind. You have to pass. They don't have to worry about the run. The run can be left to the linebackers. Marlon Jones, Carl Hairston, those people can just come off the line of scrimmage, right upfield, thinking pass. All they want to do is get pressure on Steve Bono. Every time Bono releases this football, he's going to be under siege.
From the 29-yard line of the Browns, Rodney Carter heads in motion. Second down and 10. Looking for Lips. Incomplete. Lips had stopped down at the 10-yard line, and Bono read that he was going to the end zone.
Lips is frustrated also, but he's experiencing the same things the Cleveland receivers are experiencing with Pagel. These are people that you don't work with every day during the week. Bono never gets a chance to work and practice with a Lewis Lips. That's Brister's job. So now he comes into the ball game, and you're expecting him to make completions to people that he never throws to during the week. It's a very difficult thing to do, particularly when you got a bunch of people breathing hard down your neck.
3rd and 10 with 4:46 left in the fourth quarter. Steelers trail by 11 at 20-9 to the Cleveland Browns. Bono down the middle, going for Lockett.
Oh, he dropped it.
Incomplete in the end zone. 3 Browns there. Stephen Braggs, Brian Washington, Felix Wright. But Reggie, you're right. He just dropped it.
This is a drop. This is a touchdown. This is an outstanding throw from Bono. Good protection. They keep the Browns away from Bono. Look at the tight spiral there. Oh, that's a touchdown. Good throw. Good job by Bono. Receivers dropping passes. That's also been a part of the Steelers' problem.
So they come up 4th down and must go for it 4th and 10 from the Browns' 29-yard line.
And the things you're seeing the Steelers do today aren't something that they just started. They've been doing this all year. That's why they're 1-3.
4th and 10, flags go down. And it's against Pittsburgh.
You're talking about this thing, and Chuck Noll doesn't know where.
Ball start, offense. Number 74, simulating the start of a snap, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
It's on Terry Long and Chuck Noll, arms folded in the white jersey on the sideline.
That's Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, with the brown jacket on.
So now it is 4th down and 15. Back at the 34-yard line. Browns blitzing as Brian Washington was coming in. They're throwing for Troy Johnson, and it's incomplete in the end zone. Mark Harper over there for the Cleveland Browns. That's Harper, 23. Congratulating him is Felix Wright. As they went for Johnson in the end zone, and it had a chance, and Cleveland gets the ball back, and a lot of the sellout crowd starts to head to the parking lot with 4:34 remaining.
And apparently Cleveland's defensive record is still intact of not having allowed a touchdown pass. And you got the kind of defensive personnel they have in the secondary, why you expect this kind of play from them. They are just solid back there. And even though they don't get the kind of rush that a lot of teams you'd like to see, their coverage is such that they are sometimes allowed sacks.
Manoa and Biner behind Pagel. Biner on first down, ducks down, and goes over the 35 out to the 37-yard line, and the clock running now with 4:25 remaining in the game.
Biner was tempted to go outside just then, but he thought better of it, stayed inside, didn't want to get near that sideline boundary where he could stop the clock.
Steelers defensive back Rod Woodson has suffered a concussion, and he will not be back in the Steeler defense today. Ernest Biner, no problem there. I think just a stocking problem. Every time one of the Browns reaches down, I'm sure over on that sideline, they take a deep breath and wait, because so many Browns have been injured, and a lot of Steelers have been injured too. Two banged up AFC Central Division teams here today. 3:50 remaining in the game. Second down and 6 for Cleveland, leading by 11 points. Pagel going to pass, and again they've got the tight end Tennell open and running down into Pittsburgh territory, out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
Well, that was almost a gimme. I mean, the Steelers were up there with 11 men right at the line of scrimmage, daring the Browns to throw the football. Play action pass, and Derek Tennell, number 81, gets behind everybody because everybody on the Steelers defensive unit is playing run.
26-yard pass play. Derek Tennell has made 2 catches now on the day, and a first down for Cleveland. 3:40 remaining as Bubby Brister heads into the Pittsburgh locker room. A frustrating day for him and for the entire Steeler offensive team.
Well, they've been swimming upstream all year, and I'll tell you, losing Brister isn't going to help their chances at all. I mean, they're going to be 1-4 and probably out of any playoff picture for 1988.
Herman Fontenot inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line. Greg Carr on the tackle for the Steelers. Cleveland's defense. Hanford Dixon said it yesterday that they have to start making big plays themselves. Just can't lay it all on the offense. The defense was not able to come up with big plays so far this season, where they had been in the last couple of years, been providing that, and they did today.
And the response to that is Bernie Kosar doesn't play defense, so despite the troubles the Cleveland Browns offensive unit has been having, there's nothing wrong with that defense. They've got to do what they're doing today, and they've been doing it all year. They've been shutting teams down.
Ernest Biner to the middle of the line, inside the 35-yard line. Now we're down to 2:49, and it is running. And Cleveland on their way to their first AFC Central Division win today. And that was what was so important to both coaches, Chuck Noll and Marty Schottenheimer, was the fact that they each did not want to go down 0-2 inside the division, with both losing to Cincinnati already this season.
Well, they're going to be able to sit back and watch what happens out on the West Coast later on as Cincinnati takes on the LA Raiders. The Raiders are a very explosive football team. The Bengals are 4-0. I think there's some people that are still saying, yeah, but you know, and
third down now for the Browns. Biner. Good run by Biner. There's a big problem. The ball pops loose. Now 70 Larry Williams jumped right on the stack as it actually hit a Steeler defensive play right on his legs. And then Larry Williams jumped in there trying to get it for the Browns. The player was Darren Jordan that knocked the ball loose. Let's see who has the football. Biner doesn't.
I didn't think anybody hit Biner.
All right, let's sort it out. 98 is the nose tackle, Gerald Williams, on stacking. I think you're going to see Larry Williams with the football. Yeah, there he is. And Cleveland will hold on to the football. Congratulations. Larry Williams with a heads-up play as he recovers the Biner fumble. 2 minutes to go in the game. The Browns on their way to a win in Pittsburgh.
2 minutes remain to be played in the game. 2 minutes remaining.
Game, Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Jim Donovan and Reggie Rucker and the Cleveland Browns 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers 9. A big second half for the Browns, especially defensively, coming up with 4 Pittsburgh turnovers.
No question in my mind, the Cleveland Browns won this game with their defense again, and I think that's going to be the trend for the Cleveland Browns until they're running this offense more smoothly with Mike Pagel at quarterback.
After Larry Williams recovered an Ernest Biner fumble, the Browns have it 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. Biner gets it again and goes down to the 25-yard line. I want to thank our spotters today, Tim Fogarty, Mike McGinley, George Jordan on stats, along with John Rooney.
Good job, fellas.
Thanks for all your help here in Pittsburgh today. Timeout called on the field right now. Mike Pagel to the sideline, on his way to a win for Cleveland as they're well in control.
Second timeout.
Tim Manoa ran the ball. As we come back, Pittsburgh uses another timeout, and it will be 3rd down for the Browns inside the 25 of Pittsburgh at about the 24-yard line.
We talked about Manoa having a strong showing, and you know, Mike Pagel has been asked to do a lot. You take a look at Pagel's numbers: 15 of 26, 131 yards. Of course, not impressive by what we expect today in these passing offenses of the 80s, but you know, the thing that's important, I think, with Pagel is that he's played in 3 ball games. He's won 2 of them. Wins are what you judge quarterbacks by, and of course, Pagel is going to be a winner here today.
So the Browns report card and Mike Pagel in the Browns huddle. 1:50 remaining. 3rd down and 9. Cleveland comes back home next week to Cleveland Stadium, and they'll take on the Seattle Seahawks. And the Steelers will use their last timeout on that run.
Pittsburgh, their 3rd and last timeout.
Now the Steelers report card.
Brister, 4 of 14, 28 yards. While he was in the ball game, he just couldn't get anything going through the air. He had been one of the AFC's hottest quarterbacks passing. The Browns shut him down. Nothing to speak of in terms of rushing the football. The Browns just defensively just dominated this football game.
Gary Anderson was the bright spot, 3 for 3. They were living on Gary Anderson early in the game, took a 9-7 lead at halftime, and then Cleveland got going. Matt Barr's had a pretty good day himself.
The Browns just have the luxury defensively of being able to do things with the versatility of that defense that other pro football teams can't do. They can put Minifield and Dixon in one-on-one situations, and then they can defend the run because they have more men to defend the run than you have to block them.
It's a 40-yard field goal attempt from Matt Barr. 2 for 2 on the day. Right down the middle. Matt Barr 3 for 3, matching Gary Anderson today, and put 3 more up on the board for the Browns and make it 23-9.
And you think that isn't sweet for Matt Barr, because in 79 and 80 he kicked for these Pittsburgh Steelers, and they sent him on his way. He went out to San Francisco, and you take a look at Tim Manoa.
And now it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP, Tim Manoa. From the Cleveland Browns, Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games.
Just to finish that story, Barr went out to San Francisco, and then the Cleveland Browns had an opportunity to obtain him, and they did, and he's been kicking field goals that win football games ever since.
And has now kicked 10 in a row this season. He's 10 out of 11. So with 1:37 left to go, Marty Schottenheimer comes into Pittsburgh for the 3rd year in a row now and wins. And you say, well, that's not a big winning streak, but remember, on the other side of that, they had lost 16 years in a row before that. Reg, you were unfortunately a part of that streak.
You had to bring that
up.
Well,
you know.
Oh, well, they're starting a reverse jinx now.
Yeah. They had lost, never won at Three River Stadium. In Bernie Kosar's rookie year, they lost in '85, and since then they have won now 3 years in a row. Lupe Sanchez is back deep along with Dwight Stone on the kickoff by Matt Barr. Sanchez right on the goal line. Up in the air he goes, out over the 20-yard line to the 22. So Lupe Sanchez replacing Rod Woodson back there. Woodson out of the lineup now with a concussion. And Steve Bono comes back in. 1:31 to work with, and his team down 23-9.
Well, this is a tough enough defense to have to pass against ordinarily. Now, when you're trailing 23-9 and you have to throw the football, well, something bad may happen to you here too.
The one interception was a big one that Bono threw. Washington of the Browns took it for a touchdown. And they go for Lewis Lips, and it's incomplete. Frank Minifield and Felix Wright on the coverage of Lips, and Minifield has been with Lips all day long, step for step.
Well, when they should have been going to Lips, they weren't, which was early in the ball game when they were trying to establish something. You know, once you get behind and have to throw the ball, the man that's going to bring you back is Lewis Lips, and the Browns are going to double cover him.
A couple of Cleveland fans happy about today's win. Many here today. Of course, when they join up again in Cleveland later on this season, there'll be plenty of Pittsburgh fans there too as the rivalry continues. Bono throwing long, and Washington almost makes an acrobatic interception over on the Browns sideline. Marty Schottenheimer talking to the rookie. Nevertheless, must have done something wrong there. Or maybe they're changing his defense. Washington had a 75-yard interception and returned for a touchdown. For Chuck Noll, after an opening Sunday win over the Dallas Cowboys here at Three Rivers, it's been downhill. 4 losses in a row and a trip to Phoenix next week to play the Cardinals.
They had playoff hopes in '88. At least they anticipated it. But, you know, with all the injuries, particularly the offensive line, the secondary, and now Brister.
Merrill Hodge out of the backfield makes the catch out over the 35-yard line to the 36, and a first down. Now down to 1 minute remaining in the game. Pittsburgh tried to snap the ball very quickly there, and I don't think the Browns were lined up yet. Flag goes down.
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Darrell Sims, the ex-Steeler who was their top draft choice in '85 out of Wisconsin, now playing with the Browns.
Someone said when things have been going badly for the Steelers in the past, they've always relied on the incalculable inner strength of Chuck Noll, and they're certainly going to have to do that now, because at 1-4 and going nowhere, boy, I tell you, this is a tough season that they have left ahead of them.
Sims was slow getting back as the Steelers made that quick snap, and that's why he was flagged. Bono throws for Weegee Thompson at the 40-yard line, and it's incomplete. Stephen Braggs on the coverage for the Browns with 57 seconds remaining now in the game.
I really don't like to see this, throwing the ball up this way, because somebody can get hurt. You can stretch one of your receivers out, and you have no chance to win the football game, yet you're still throwing it, and sometimes injuries occur during these times.
Cleveland will go to 3-2. The Steelers will go to 1-4. And with Houston losing today to Philadelphia, the Browns will be tied with the Oilers if that score holds up in Philadelphia and the Oilers lose at 3-2 in the Central Division. Clifford Charlton looked as though he jumped off, but apparently got back in time as Merrill Hodge makes the catch and tries to go out of bounds, and did at the 49-yard line.
It's like Toonce Ilkin, number 62 on the right side, moved prematurely.
Here's the call now.
Offside. Defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
So the Steelers will take the play with 50 seconds remaining. And the catch and run brings them inside Cleveland territory down to the 48-yard line.
Not a happy man. No way.
And back come the Steelers. Steve Bono. Very quiet at Three Rivers. Bono going long for Lips. Felix Wright trying to time the interception, and he's got it. His second of the day. Now where's the run going to land him? With a burst, he's to midfield and some open field now. Felix Wright, look at him go down to the Steeler 35-yard line. And the Cleveland defense just puts a rubber stamp on this one.
Well, it starts to make your football team look bad when you start doing these kinds of things. That's why I feel that when you can't win a football game, get the game over with. Now you just look ragtag and you look disoriented. Watch Felix Wright, number 22. This is his second interception of the game, and this thing almost goes back about 85 yards. Good move there by Wright. Look at him pick up his blockers there. Now you're going to see one of the Steelers come from behind. Charles Lockett, number 89, and make the tackle on Rice.
53-yard run after the interception. Felix Wright over to the Browns sideline. That's 5 turnovers by the Steelers in the second half. And 32 seconds left to go. Mike Pagel puts his knee down, gives the ball to the referee. That should do it for this afternoon in Pittsburgh, as now Mike Pagel joins Bernie Kosar, as the Browns can say they have